What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. This is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 128 for your Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one and only, the man who the Demigorgon fears, Solomonster. What's going on, brother?
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
You know, this is going to be a big year. We got two big movies coming out that I'm looking forward to. And they're both video game movies. We have Mortal Kombat, right? That's coming out in May. And then we have Street Fighter.
Oh.
With all of these weird cameos and all these different people and wrestlers. And then, of course, in November, this is going to be the year that GTA 6 finally comes out, or so they say.
Maybe,
possibly. They're saying November 19th, though. That's the current release date.
Now, what's going to happen first? GTA 6 or Cody Rhodes going heel?
Cody Rhodes going heel. You could have really almost said anything there, and I would probably just go with that.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not big on GTA, man. I might have to dive in this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on GTA. I've played it in the past, but I mean, it's become a running joke at this point. So, like, is this thing ever going to get released? I don't know.
It will. It's going to be the biggest video game of all time, I'm assuming. Everybody can't wait for it, but
It better be after all this time. It can't be anything else.
Listen, man, they're doing something that apparently both AEW and WWE don't give a shit about. Quality over quantity. That's what I like to say. But
it takes 8 years to get good quality, apparently.
Listen, man, however long it takes, I'm all for it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us here on Tuesday night. This is the first TNT of 2026. We have a lot of stuff that we want to get accomplished this year, and taking the show to the next level, certainly on my list of priorities, as Jason as well. But we want to thank you guys very much for joining us here on the first show of the new year. Congratulations, you guys took the record last week. 58 minutes watch time for our final episode of the year, where we went over our personal best of the best of 2025. That is an all-time TNT record. And I'm looking to top that eventually this year. So thank you guys very much for that. 58 minutes. Apparently, bro, it's what do they say? They like what they're getting over here? 58 minutes?
They like me. They really like me.
Oh, yeah.
The old Sally Field quote from the
yes.
Academy Awards.
Yeah, man. So 58-minute watch time. That's quite the achievement there. I genuinely don't know who else in the community is doing that.
No one.
No one. If I was to take a stab at it, probably Chris Van Vliet, and that's the only one. But thank you guys very much for that, man. We are very appreciative of the support that we get on Tuesday nights, and we're gonna kick ass here in 2026 and do the same thing that we've always done, and that's bring great shows here on Tuesday. You guys can come hang out with and enjoy, and the quality. I'm going to ensure you guys that the quality of show only gets better from here on out. So thank you guys very much. We got a lot to get into, man. It's a slow week, but I feel like there was a lot of topical discussion to come out of all the weekly shows. I know AEW Dynamite had their New Year's Smash on New Year's Eve. I did watch the show. I thought it was actually one of the better shows that they've put on in recent months. We'll talk about that. There was a big happening there. Mercedes Moné lost the TBS championship. I know some people are happy about that. Some people are very confused by that. We'll hopefully make sense of that today when we talk about it. So we have that on the list tonight. We also have WWE last night with their Stranger Things collaboration. And I think the general consensus in the community is that it flopped. So we'll definitely talk about that. I know I basically shit on the show last night. Jason wasn't too complimentary of it either. So we'll go over that. And believe it or not, you want to talk about Stranger Things. SmackDown has been one of the worst shows of pro wrestling all year, 2025. They had the best show of the week to start the year off. So it's certainly upside down, man. Things are upside down on Friday night.
First 3-hour show, too, last week.
Yeah.
Now we got a big international tour for the next few weeks. So you're going to have these shows airing at all kind of weird times. It'll be like it was back in the summer. So it'll be nice to watch wrestling a little bit earlier than usual.
I know. Now we got that Road to the Rumble European tour before they hit Saudi. So I know both of us will probably be live earlier for the post shows. We'll discuss that as the time draws near. But I'm very much looking forward to not watching wrestling on a Monday night when I don't have to, and I can do other things like maybe sleep or catch up on some video gaming that I haven't done.
Yeah, they're in Berlin on Friday, so it starts this week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There was a major match booked for next week's Monday Night Raw. So we'll talk about all the weekly shows. We got Chris Jericho news. We got Rock news that hit the IWC in a controversial way this weekend. And we have NXT call-ups. We are not done yet. I hope not. But 2 more names added to the speculation pool here as far as who's getting called up, and both of them on the ladies' side of things. And I have absolutely no problem with either one of these ladies or both getting called up to the main roster. So we'll definitely talk about that. And we thank you guys again for joining us here on TNT episode 128. Please follow us on social media. Everything you need is linked down below in the description. If you guys want to follow Jason on social media, on YouTube, he is nearing 90,000 subs if he's not there already.
Very close. Very close.
Please go and hit that subscribe button over there. And if you guys want to support, you could do that a couple of ways. Number one, leave a comment. Helps us out tremendously. Leave a thumbs up. That also helps us out tremendously. And the super chats. They are always open. Get your questions, comments, concerns, and any comedy you may want to shove our way. So please get them all in, and we will hang out at the end of the show, as always, to go over all of that towards the end of the show. So thank you guys again. All right, man. Where you want to go? What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's keep it in order here. You mentioned the New Year's Eve, New Year's Smash episode of Dynamite. Let's go back and let's start with AEW here.
All right. Dynamite had New Year's Smash, and the rating did come in. It wasn't a smash by any means. It was the lowest rated show in the history of Dynamite, but...
Well, to be fair, most people were probably tuned into me that night because I had my New Year's Eve stream, so sorry, AEW.
There you go. Solid Monster actively drew viewers away from Dynamite. That's
even though I aired after Dynamite, but I think people were getting ready for my stream and they were a little bit busy. So
I was probably 3 old fashions in by the time Dynamite already started, so I was not in the wrestling mood on Wednesday night. But I did catch the show on Thursday. I did watch it all in full on Thursday afternoon, and it was not a bad show by any means. It was pretty decent. And at the top of the show, we got MJF and his title celebration. His Triple B is once again all over AEW television.
Now, I got to say, I'll stop you there.
Yep.
I think you would agree with me on this, that if you had to look at all of the current world titles in wrestling, the best looking physical belt would be the AEW World Championship.
I agree.
So, MJF, he unveils it. I think it's the same belt. I mean, the same custom belt that he used the first time during his first run. And yeah, it's a great looking belt. And I would have said the same thing, the best looking belt in all of wrestling. I actually can't say that anymore. I have to say that it's the number 2 most beautiful belt in all of wrestling. Because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but New Japan has brought back their old world championship design. Now that they have a new champion. I don't know if you're familiar with the belt they were using previously, but
I am.
That had been previously the best looking belt in wrestling. Well, now it's back. So, no offense to MJF, but he's only got the number 2 world title now.
So what did they do with the old championship that they were using?
Well, the old championship, I guess, is going in a vault somewhere. But the guy who won the title at Wrestle Kingdom this weekend, he had said coming in, this is the guy that, they were sort of anointing as the new guy. And he said that if he wins, he was going to bring back the old, it was like the version 4. They called it the V4. He's going to bring back the old V4 belt. So, of course, everybody got all excited. We're going to bring the V4 belt back, and we're going to merge the lineages. Because when they started this new, IWGP World Heavyweight title a few years ago, I think when Kota Ibushi won it, they started a whole new lineage for it. So it was like, why would you do that? It's just very confusing. So they made the announcement today that the belt is back. And the lineages are hereby merged. So that was a welcome change that they just made.
Well, I mean, I don't know why these companies make the decisions that they do, but I know a lot of people are sticklers for the title designs. There are title enthusiasts out there, so I'm sure most of them are celebrating. So that's good to hear. I wish WWE would do something like that, but they're too stuck in their ways to even think about that. So MJF does have the Triple B. And it is a beautiful title nonetheless. He has a nice core group of babyfaces, Jason, now eyeing him down and chasing him that also want to become the world champion. One of them is Kenny Omega, who we discussed. He showed up on Dynamite not too long ago telling the Young Bucks that now that the Elite's back together, he needs to go take care of something that he wanted to take care of. Now, I didn't know what that meant, and I know we speculated that it could be maybe he goes and finishes some business with Don Callis. Maybe he revisits the feud with Kyle Fletcher, which I'll get to in a second here because I have it on my notes, and I mentioned it on social media when I was talking about the show. Or go after the World Championship. We get something along the lines of old school Kenny Omega getting back into the title picture and going after the World Championship because his match with MJF years ago was tremendous on Collision. So that's exactly what it was. So Kenny Omega appeared on the big screen and he said he was sorry to interrupt. I don't like that it was a pre-taped segment, that he wasn't in the building, but I mean, I guess beggars can't be choosers. But it was.
I mean, he was probably, if he wasn't already there, he's probably on his way to Japan.
Yeah, yes.
By the way, so did you see Kota Ibushi?
No, I didn't see anything from New Japan, but I did hear that he was there in the building, yeah.
Well, he came out to the ring with Kenny after Tanahashi's match. Now, he's only like a couple months removed from surgery for a broken femur. And he comes out there, and I guess he refused to use crutches or anything. This fucking guy, he is out of his fucking mind. Like, I guess you would call it limping. I mean, it was painful. Like, you could tell he was in agony. And this is a long ramp here in the Tokyo Dome, okay? It's not like it's one of these short Dynamite aisles where you take one step and you're in the ring. And this poor bastard, man, he's just like dragging himself down this ramp, and then he's got to go up these little steps into the ring. And everybody's trying to help him in, and it's just like, but he was bound and determined, though, to be there live. But I'm watching him. I'm like, I don't know if he should be doing this, but it's Ibushi. So, I mean, you can't really be shocked by anything that he does.
I don't know. Was he thinking that he didn't want to dirty up the entire visual with him standing in crutches or on crutches for Tanahashi's retirement match?
It's Ibushi. He's out of his mind.
Like nobody would give a shit. Like everybody understands why he's out there.
In his mind, he would give a shit. He's like, no, I gotta do this by myself. So he's just like he's just like struggling to get down this ramp, and then of course he had to go back. But he was also live streaming on his phone before the show from like the parking lot, trying to get a ticket to get in.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God. I saw like a brief like video. I think that's what he was doing. It wouldn't shock me. Obviously, he got in, but like he's crazy. He's crazy. So anyway, Kenny was there. That's probably why he wasn't on Dynamite this week. Because I don't know if he had already left or he was in transit, but that's probably why he wasn't there.
More than likely. That's a valid reason there. But he was on Dynamite and said that he definitely has an eye on MJF. It wouldn't be MJF as the cleaner. It wouldn't be the best bout machine or the belt collector. Omega said he isn't collecting belts, but he is going for one. And he said whether it's next week or he has to claw his way to a title shot, MJF is going to be seeing a lot more of Kenny Omega. So I do like that. I'll stop there, Jason, before we get into whoever else interrupted this segment. I do like that Omega is throwing himself into the list of names for the World Championship. And I like the fact that it's not going to be immediate. Now, I don't know what their story is going to be. I love, and I don't really understand why they haven't made a mention of Kyle Fletcher putting him out. I would assume that they should cycle back to that. At the ECW arena, Kyle Fletcher put out Kenny Omega, and they never really revisited that at all. But I feel like if he's going to get a world championship match, I'd love to see Kenny Omega wrestle a little bit more than we have seen him wrestle, gather some wins, and make a claim that he has earned the right to wrestle MJF. And I think a lot of people do agree with me. You look at Kenny Omega and the less of a role that he's played on AEW television, I feel like it's actively harmed their main event scene. So to get someone like that back, don't know how healthy he is. I hope he is as healthy as he could be. To get him back in any capacity, I know a lot of that fan base looks at him as their version of Roman Reigns. I feel like AEW has not treated Omega or presented Omega in the way that they should present Kenny Omega. He is there outside of, I would say, I think MJF's the ace of the company. I think him and Moxley, number 1 and 2. I feel like Kenny Omega should be in that discussion. I think he is legitimately probably their biggest star outside Jon Moxley. and I don't think he's been presented in a good way. And I hope that this hopefully fixes that as he chases MJF for the World Championship.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming he hasn't been presented in that way by design, because he just hasn't really done a lot of singles matches. There's got to be a reason for that. So I assume it has to do with his health. So now, at least if they're teasing that he's going to be back in the world title picture, he must be feeling okay enough now to, start doing singles again. And that's a story. That's a story to tell. That's not a match you just throw out there at Revolution.
No,
I think that's a match you build to, I think, for Double or Nothing. And I don't know if the idea would be, because we're all kind of hoping, I think, and assuming that Ospreay will be back in time, to be on that Wembley Stadium show. And I don't know if he will or not. I think Tony Khan is hoping he is. So then the question becomes, like, would they want to do another MJF Ospreay match, which they did once before at Wembley and Ospreay won? Do they want to run that back, right, but for the world title? Or would they actually have Kenny beat MJF, and then maybe have Kenny and Will have another match, because they had some killer matches before? So I don't know. I don't know does Omega need the championship again? I don't know. I kind of see MJF as that guy who, when it's time for Ospreay to come back, if he's back in time, like, MJF will probably be that guy. He'll probably have that belt at least through the summer, I would think. Does Kenny Omega even need to win the world title when he gets that shot?
No, I don't think so. I think we don't know for sure what Ospreay's status is or how soon he will be back, but I'm making a prediction that I think he'll be back by Wembley, and I think that MJF and Ospreay will be the main event of Wembley this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm kind of thinking also. Now, he was there too. He was in Japan this weekend, and then he actually commented on his status, and he said that he still has a long road ahead. He guys got a long ways to go, but he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. So, I mean, what that means, I don't know. I mean, neck surgery is neck surgery. So it's January now. He looked pretty good. He's moving around okay and everything, but he could still be 6 months away. We don't know. And the wrinkle in that, of course, is the Owen Hart tournament. And if it works the way that it's worked in the past, he has to be back. It's not enough for him to be back in time to wrestle at Wembley. He'd have to be back in time to actually be a part of the tournament. And I mean, dude, when did they start having matches? Was it April or May?
Well,
right?
What was it? All In was in July 12th. So they had to start it earlier. So this year, Wembley's taking place at the end of August. So I'm assuming they would start it at Forbidden Door.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the Wembley show this year is going to be a month later than it was last year. Well, than Texas was last year. Yeah. So then if you were to move back the start of the Owen matches, it could start as early as May. Yeah. So we're probably looking at May. It's dicey. Hopefully they can get him back, because I think that's I'm sure what Tony is hoping for. But yeah, I agree. I think MJF and Ospreay would be, the direction if he was healthy enough to be back, and just having Kenny in the mix. He's kind of like an Undertaker type, or a Brock, as far as like his status in AEW, where he doesn't need the belt. Yeah. I think just him being active and him having big matches and not even putting that extra pressure on him. I'm not sure he would want the belt back. I think would be enough. I don't think he needs the championship.
If MJF and Kenny Omega happens, that's only one of many baby faces here. We have Adam Page, Swerve Strickland. They also interrupted. And they've been feuding with MJ. Hangman has anyway. And Swerve, it's been teased, but we never really got that one-on-one match, which I'm assuming we'll get at some point this year, which should be great. I'm thinking maybe around Dynasty. I think that's kind of low-key, unofficially become Swerve's event. So, I could see that.
And don't forget about Darby. You can still do MJF and Darby.
Well, I was going to say, if we don't get Ospreay and MJF at Wembley, what about Darby doing the MJF match at Wembley? You think that's a possibility?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I feel like there are stronger matches you could do. Yeah. But just with the history with them, sure, you could do it. I wouldn't do it at Wembley, though. I mean, unless they really just have no other like really good option. Because I kind of feel like if they got a sense early enough that Ospreay's not going to be back in time for Wembley, or at least to do that at Wembley, then maybe you save the Kenny match for Wembley. And you really take your time building Omega up until you finally do that match. And instead of Double or Nothing, you do it. He's got to win the Owen. and really earn his way back in, and then you do Omega and MJF at Wembley.
Yeah, I like that story. If it's not Ospreay, it definitely should be Kenny Omega to be in that spot for sure.
Yeah, but like, I noticed something between the Dynamite show and the SmackDown show on Friday that I liked. So to your point about how like MJF has all of these people like babyface challengers now that are set up to potentially come after him in the championship. And I noticed it was a similar thing on SmackDown where, Cody had different people on Friday specifically saying, I'm coming for you and I'm coming for that belt. Randy Orton being one of them, right? Drew McIntyre obviously is getting his match this week, Sami Zayn. So it all goes to this idea that like the championship is and should be the most important thing. And everyone should be like, that should be their mission and that should be their goal, to be the top guy, to be the world heavyweight champion. So I like that. I like that they're establishing multiple people who are coming after that one top prize. On Dynamite, it's MJF. On SmackDown, it's Cody. But that's how it should be. And I like that they're establishing a lot of different, challengers for these people.
Yeah, likewise. I do like that a lot myself. Paige, Swerve, they went out there and they also staked claim to MJF. Samoa Joe and the Ops also showed up and said that Paige and Swerve deserve nothing. Joe deserves to be number one contender. And he is very much still in the mix for the world championship as well. And to go to what we've already talked about, Darby Allin is also there. Will Ospreay is also there. And who knows if they may revisit the Mark Briscoe MJF thing. There's a nice core nucleus of baby faces on the men's side for MJF's World Championship. So I think this is going to be a very fruitful MJF World Championship reign. As long as AEW sticks to their storytelling and gives us some really nice story surrounding the World Championship, I think we're going to be in for a very, very good title run by MJF. So I don't want to put I don't want to put all of that ahead of us and get hyped and excited and then nothing happens, but the possibility is certainly there. So,
well, of course, all of this that we just talked about may just be, a moot point if Bandito beats him next week on Dynamite. Sure. It could all come crashing down next week.
I guess he is sticking with that diamond ring. Bandito is the Dynamite diamond ring guy this year, and MJF threw it in his face. I got 6 of those. I don't need any more.
Well, I said he's like Brady. He's got one on each finger. He's got his rings. When I saw him wearing the ring at World's End, I was like, oh, okay, I guess, because I was thinking maybe he would force him to put the ring on the line, and it would be like title against ring, and that's how he gets the ring back. But he doesn't really need it unless he just wants to be a dick about it. He doesn't really need it because he still has all the other ones.
That should be a good match, though, regardless of the jewelry that Bandito is wearing. It should be a banger match on Wednesday. Yeah. Not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. We also on this show, which I didn't really understand, and I didn't even like the pay-per-view match. It was the Mixed Nuts Mayhem match, which was cut down into a trios match, a Tornado Mixed Trios match, because Timeless Tony Storm, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong wrestled the Death Riders, and this was Marina Shafir, Claudio, and Danny Garcia. Now, apparently, Jason, I think Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm and their little dancing skit at the pay-per-view did big numbers for them on YouTube. So the only reason why I think they ran this match back is it's just to play off the popularity of that one spot. And they said, you know what, if it worked there, let's do it again. Fuck it.
Well, that, and also, again, we're coming off a pay-per-view where they never are at full capacity. So, like, there were certain people, I'm sure, who, maybe he couldn't use. There were people in the tournament that I think were not on the show. There were people who couldn't be there because they were Wrestle Kingdom. There's all kinds of people who were missing on Wednesday. So he may have just been like, you know what? We're just going to run a different version of the same match back again. But also, I get the sense, because every time Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir are in the ring together, it always gets a big reaction. And I do you think we're going to get a singles match between them at some point? Are we going to get like an intergender match between them?
I think, and don't quote me on this. This is just what I think. It's not official news or anything. I think that AEW, being that they've already leaned into the intergender stuff, which I'm not a fan of at all, I think they're going to ramp that up for whatever reason. I think it's going to get them some notoriety. I think people are talking about it, and I think AEW desperately needs whatever they can hang their hat on to get some mainstream attention. And I think they're going to go a little bit deeper with this intergender stuff. That's just
I'll tell you what I would be in favor of, honestly. I will never advocate for more championships in this company, but I think that the trios titles should be intergender. Meaning, if you want to have one of the women like on your team, like you should be able to do that. I think if they add an intergender element to the trios titles, it would kind of introduce something a little unique to maybe spicing it up a little bit. And it could make for some fun situations. So I'm not advocating for the creation of anything new, but I think that that's something that should probably be allowed.
You know, that's not a terrible idea. I would actually much prefer that than the Trios Championships, to be quite honestly, because I still think today the Trios Championships are A, useless, and B, they're always going to have that stigma of taking away from the actual tag team division and the tag team championships, which, I mean, it's just a shit show all over the place. But I'm not a fan of them and was a fan of them at the start, but they've done nothing with them, so I'm over it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if they're going to keep them, then this would be like a new wrinkle to add to it. So I'm not even saying like convert them into.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like WWE had the mixed match challenge many years ago. Yeah. I mean, you could do that. You could sort of have mixed tag team titles instead of trios titles, and specifically have these like men and women's teams. You could do that, but I'm just saying, like, if there are certain trios in AEW where it's like, two men and then one of the women from the roster, like, it should be allowed. Like, if the Death Riders were to win the trios titles, you could have the trios champions as Claudio, Daniel Garcia, and Marina Shafir.
Is that going to provide a problem to sponsors and advertisements to get women on men violence or men on women violence?
Have you seen some of the things that they get away with on these shows, and the violence and the blood and the gore and the guts?
They save the cringiest of stuff for the pay-per-views. Yes, I see. Because I'm the one usually complaining about it, but I don't know if that one would fly with the man-on-woman violence.
I feel like if it's not anything gratuitous, which is why maybe they don't do, singles intergender matches. But I think as long as it's not anything too gratuitous, I don't think it would raise an issue.
I do think that WWE could probably dabble with that here and there, because we usually don't see anything on one end, but it's very one-sided. Like, we'll usually see Rhea Ripley throw some of the guys around, and that's it. They won't take any bumps or any offense. I'd like to see a little bit of that. I don't want to see full-fledged matches, but intergender wrestling is a very specific taste. It's an acquired taste.
Well, I always said, like, if they wanted to do a big match on a PLE between Rhea and Dom, they could have done it, and it would have been a big attraction. Yeah. But see, I don't see them dabbling in that, because for them, I feel like it might be an issue. For AEW, I feel like they would be able to get away with it more than WWE would.
Yes, I agree. We'll see. I feel like they're definitely going to ease more into the intergender stuff, so we'll see how that plays out on Dynamite. But we got Bandito and Beast Mortos. This was a tune-up match before he wrestles MJF at Maximum Carnage in a week or so. Frank the Attorney can't get a win, so he's just usually brought to television because, like Jason said, some of the talent banged up from the pay-per-view, and we got Beast Mortos there to take a loss. So thanks for coming.
Well, you know what I loved also? We had a standby match.
We did. I did not understand what I was watching in my drunken state, but I'm like, why is Brody King getting a job match on Dynamite? What the fuck is that about?
They called it a standby match. We had a standby match in the middle of the show. Like, a standby match is something where, like, if the show runs short, we got a standby match at the end we could throw out there. They did it in the middle of the show. That's not what a standby match really is. Oh. It's just a match. You just call it a match. It's really all it was.
Listen, I mean, you could have added the 3 minutes that went on to the main event between Willow and Mercedes. I don't know why he makes the decisions he does, but it was a waste of time. Josh Alexander and Jon Moxley in a Continental title eliminator. The days of Vince McMahon never seemed to go away, because Vince did the championship challenge, open challenges. It's like, I never understood this concept. And Tony is so fucking egregious with this. It's disgusting. I don't understand why you put your champion in a position in a match against someone who clearly does not deserve an opportunity at any championship, number one, to beat the champion to get a championship match. I never understood that. And I know it's Jon Moxley and he takes no nights off, but like, can we get challengers through the basis of wins maybe? Like, does he have to wrestle the champion to get the championship match? Or maybe he should wrestle somebody else and acquire some wins and then go for the championship? I don't get it.
Well, they had rankings and then they flopped, so they got rid of them. Twice.
We're not supposed to know that.
Twice.
Bro. Come on.
Twice. So I'm saying they tried it. They tried the whole wins and losses thing with rankings, and it was a complete fucking disaster.
You think Josh Alexander? I was telling this to somebody. You think Josh Alexander looks at what he's done with his career in TNA, world champion? He was the head guy over there, to come over to AEW and wrestle in these nonsensical title eliminator matches and be like the sixth best guy in Don Callis' faction. You think he's pleased with his career choice here?
Do I think he regrets not going to WWE? No, I think he wanted to go to AEW. I don't think he regrets it.
All right. It's just
I do. He's made comments in interviews recently too that lead me to believe like I think he's content with his choice. There were some very particular reasons I think that he chose to go where he did.
Well, he wanted to wrestle the best. That's what he said.
Well, that's what he said publicly, but I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that people make these types of career decisions, and so and certain freedoms that you do have as an AEW performer that you may not have as a WWE performer. And look, I'm not saying he would have done poorly in WWE. I actually think in NXT he would have done well. But I do question how well he would have fit into the WWE ecosystem as far as how he would have been pushed there relative to how he's being pushed now. I don't look at Josh Alexander now and think, man, boy, this guy made the wrong choice. If he was in WWE, he'd really be something right now, because we're constantly talking about very talented in-ring performers in WWE that are just sort of held at a certain level. So I think he's content with his choice. Just because he's number 5 or 6 in the Don Callis family now doesn't mean he'll always be.
Well, you are a lot more hopeful than I am, my friend. I don't know, but
do you honestly think if he went to WWE, he'd be in such a wonderful position now that's so much better than where he is at the moment?
I would probably say he'd at least be a one-time North American champion, yes.
Okay, in NXT.
Yes.
Okay, that's a big difference, though.
Well, Ethan Page is still in NXT, so why would Josh Alexander jump Ethan Page?
They'd probably be back together as a tag team.
They'd probably have no problem with that.
Okay, well, maybe that's not what he wants. Maybe he doesn't want to go back to being a tag team guy.
Sure.
They were a great team in TNA.
They were excellent. But sure. I just look at how he is here in these eliminator matches. Great wrestler, don't get me wrong, but I guess everybody else starts to feel the same when they join the AEW roster. Moxley has put out some really good stuff lately. I think it is safe to say that the beginning of the year in 2025, Moxley was very nauseating. The Death Rider stuff was legitimately death to AEW television, and at least Moxley, I don't really care for anybody else in the Death Riders. I'm a big fan of Pac, big fan of Pac and Claudio, but Moxley's work has really turned a corner, and it's not anywhere near as bad as it was in the beginning of the year. Him as Continental Champion, I think, is going to go over well. The only thing that I have a problem with, Jason, is the fact that the Death Riders wrestled in this mini Mixed Nuts Mayhem match that happened on this show, and they were the heels. And I mentioned this on Twitter when I gave a brief synopsis of the show. They were heels against the babyface conglomeration. And here Jon Moxley was wrestling a heel in Josh Alexander, part of the heel faction, the Don Callis family, and he was wrestling as a babyface. So it's like, what are they supposed to be, and why are we given two different presentations for the Death Riders? Do you think they even know where they want to go, what they want to do with this group?
I would hope so. I would hope they have some sort of idea for how this is going to be resolved. We've all been thinking that there was going to be some cracks in the armor of the Death Riders, but they're still going strong, and there seem to be no issues among the members. And
that promo at the pay-per-view was like, what the fuck was that? You look back at it, and they were all there cheering him and fucking hugging him, putting the title on him. Yeah. You would think that they would turn on him, like, what are you doing? We're the Death Riders. We're not pro AEW. Now they're all of a sudden they're pro AEW. Moxley's at least pro AEW, and the rest of them are just doing what they want to do.
Well, maybe the issue is that at some point, maybe this whole idea of putting the Continental title on Moxley is to build to a point where either Claudio or Pac feel like they are deserving of a title shot. Or Moxley just sort of says, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot. This man's earned it. And maybe that's where things start. Maybe he wrestles one of his fellow members, and then depending on how the finish goes, maybe that leads to something. Maybe they're going to use the Continental title to get there. Is that a possibility?
Sure. I don't really find that to be an interesting or entertaining possibility, but I wouldn't put it past them to do that.
Well,
sure.
If it gets us to where we need to be, if it's a means to an end.
As long as there's a light at the end of the Death Riders tunnel, you're saying just end it. If that's the way to end it, just end it.
Well, I'm not saying just end it. I'm just saying, like, you got to move the story along in some meaningful way here. Like you said, Moxley is being cheered and not just being cheered, dude. He's cutting babyface promos. And then the rest of the group, you have fucking Wheeler Yuta. So, yeah, there's like a weird sort of disconnect here. And so, yeah, that has to be explained or worked out in some way.
Well, they may be adding Roderick Strong to the rankings. Who knows?
I hope not.
They just keep growing in number. I mean, they got to at least get even with the Don Callis family so we can have a big faction warfare.
Well, I do think that's probably why they kept them together. I think we're probably going to get the Death Riders against the Callis family, and maybe them opposing the Callis family is what ends up turning the whole group.
Maybe.
Because Callis is so hated that will turn the entire Death Riders babyface, and then the two groups can feud.
We'll see what happens there. Again, not the most intriguing of aspects, but that's the AEW situation with the Death Riders. Jungle Jack Perry has a situation. He's minus a dinosaur now. Shoulder injury claims Luchasaurus, or what Jason likes to, or has famously coined now, the shoulder demon.
Shoulder demon.
Does this demon have a name?
It's called the shoulder demon. That's his fucking name. I mean, I call him Sholdy for short, but I mean, he's the shoulder demon. That's
Sholdy, huh?
Sholdy. Yeah, old Sholdy.
He's claimed many victims.
Many victims. Many victims. I saw, God, where was it? Fightful. I think Fightful tweeted out an image of all the different wrestlers, and they had Bobby Lashley in the image. Now,
really?
I hadn't heard about what the injury was that has him out. But I took that to mean that his injury might be a shoulder. I don't know that for a fact.
Well, I was surprised to see Jay White on that list of guys. I didn't see Bobby Lashley. I guess I was looking at something
Lashley was in there.
Okay.
Well, you talking about the graphic?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was in there.
I thought Jay White had a hand injury.
I've heard Jay White. Okay, so he had a foot injury previously. I think he came back from that. So he's another one. I don't know what the injury is that's kept him out. He was also there at the New Japan show. He came out after Tanahashi's match, and he looked good, and hopefully we'll get him back on TV soon. But can you imagine if the two of them also had shoulder injuries? That's just two more names to add to a list that is just so out of control, like over the past year. And now we were supposed to have a match on SmackDown last week with Meechin and Jade Cargill. Meechin suffered a shoulder injury at the on the holiday tour. So that's another one. And now Luchasaurus. And now it's cross-branded now. It's not just limited to WWE. Evidently, there are multiple shoulder issues in AEW as well. And it shows no signs of letting up anytime soon. I don't know what to attribute this to.
So Sholdy doesn't meddle in the tribalism, is what you're telling me.
No. He's an equal opportunity offender. He'll take you out no matter who you are, where you work. Doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter. Luchasaurus is out, shoulder injury. They wrote him off television in this Ricochet and Jungle Jack Perry match for the AEW National Championship. They did a whole post-match thing with Luchasaurus and the Gates of Agony where they hit him with a steel chair, and they had the barricade that they had ripped apart, and they started slamming it on his arm. So they laid him out. And he will be off television for hopefully not too long because, the whole reason was to get the Jurassic Express in the tag team division, and now Jungle Jack Perry finds himself solo again. So the whole reason why they brought him back was to pair him with Jack Perry, and now that's no more. So the tag team division is down one team, which is a blow to them because the tag team division isn't really doing much nowadays anyway, but I find that to be a big blow.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks said they're not cleared. They're going to be gone for a little bit. I don't know if that's a cover for a real injury or they're just taking a few weeks off. But if they're going to be gone for a while, that's another team out of the tag division.
Ricochet beat Jack Perry here, retained the North American champion, or not the North American, national championship. So many fucking championships, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. National championship, international championship. So that was that. And then the main event. We got Mercedes Moné and the TBS championship on the line here against Willow Nightingale, who is one half of the newly crowned AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, I did see what had happened the night in which it happened because it was all over social media. And I went back and watched the match on Thursday to see if it was as good as everybody was claiming it to be. It was a very good television main event. I don't know if it was better than their first match at Double or Nothing last year, but it was a fine main event to cap off the Dynamite year for AEW. Now, the only problem I have with this, Jason, is this. I think we all assumed Mercedes was going to lose the TBS championship. I don't think either of us thought it was going to be this soon. So I said as much on my post on Twitter on Thursday. I said, wouldn't it had made more sense if Mercedes lost all of the other insignificant championships and then lost the TBS championship? Now, someone in my thread on Twitter mentioned you, and I think they said that you mentioned, well, maybe it's something along the lines of Tony Khan not having anything to do or having any say in regards to when Mercedes loses those championships, because it could be, forever until she loses any of those championships. So why is he going to wait on his creative for these other companies to do what they want to do with Mercedes in their championship? Now, that is a very good explanation. But to me, the way that I look at it is, who gives a shit about the other championships? I feel like when those championships are defended and lost, it's not going to make mainstream news. Who gives a shit? Like, I would rather her be the one to lose that championship last and then have nothing and then go after and build yourself back up and go after the women's championship. But they did it now for, I assume, they want to tell the story of her hopefully going into Wembley and getting that championship back and getting back into that winning way. So I don't know how you look at this, but I just found it to be odd that she lost the championship. I also thought that they pulled the championship change because they knew that this was going to be a dismal rating and they wanted to shock everybody.
Well, I mean, that's possible too.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would have worked that way. It would have worked where the TBS title, which is, that's the most important championship that she has, would be lost last. She's already had that title, though. She had the title, I should say, for almost 600 days. So if she is not going to lose all of her other championships so quickly, you're effectively kind of handcuffing Tony Khan if, let's say, he wants to move beyond Mercedes as the TBS champion and start having that title defended again, by somebody else against other people, maybe transition it to somebody else, another heel. Because what's he going to do? Is he going to keep the TBS title on her for another 4 months, 5 months? Double or Nothing will be 2 years that she would have been the champion. So if it was a case of, all right, look, we're not going to wait around another 5 or 6 months for her to drop this fucking belt, we'll give people this big moment here to close out the year, and she'll lose those other championships whenever she loses them. The whole thing with her downfall and then building her up back to a point where she can wrestle for the world title, if the goal is Wembley, that's still, 7 or 8 months away. So you got to really take your time with that story. So in a way, I don't mind it because now somebody else has this belt, and now Willow can defend it against other people, and maybe Tekla beats her for it or something like that. So that's fine. My issue with it was, if this was the plan, and supposedly that was the plan, Tony knew, for how long I don't know, but he knew that he wanted Willow to get this belt back. Because after all this time, Mercedes, the person that she beat to win the belt, is the one she lost the belt back to. But if he knew that, why did he put the tag team titles on her?
Well, you say that it was the plan. I'm not saying you said it, but Tony supposedly said it, that it was the plan. I don't think it was the plan. I don't think Willow was the plan. I think this came about legitimately within the last couple of weeks. I don't think this was the plan. Because otherwise, why would they put the tag team titles on her and then put another championship on her and saddle her with defending 2 championships at the same time? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, they still built this match up, though, right? There was a reason for them to do this match in the first place. He had some plan in place for Willow to challenge Mercedes. I can believe that this was the plan.
From the pay-per-view?
Well, I'm just saying, I can believe that there was maybe a period of however many months, maybe not from the very beginning when she first won it, but he had it in his mind, I know who's going to beat her for the belt. And maybe he even knew he was going to do it on New Year's Eve. I can believe that, but it does beg the question, then why would he feel the need to still put the tag team titles on her and Harley Cameron if he knew that he was going to put this other championship on her? So I can believe that it was the plan, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe he wanted her to have 2 belts and, Willow too, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've had so many people holding multiple championships, it's lost all meaning at this point. That's the only confusing thing to me. She doesn't need to have the tag team title if she's going to be defending the TBS championship. So that's weird to me. I like Willow, though. I mean, I don't mind her being the one to win it.
No.
Especially if she just transitions it. She may be a transitional champion. She may not have it for that long. It may be a Megan Bayne or a Tekla, who either one of those, I would be fine with either one of them being the next person to hold that title. So that's fine. And I think Willow is great. But she doesn't need to have 2 titles right now.
Is there some sort of stress on Tony Khan and AEW Creative to continue the success of the TBS title? Because normally, and the reason why I say this is because normally when someone that has a long title reign drops the championship and it goes to the next recipient, it's never really fulfilled in the same way that the previous reign was fulfilling that championship. And I use Gunther and Sami Zayn as a great example. Gunther held it for 666 days. Sami had an okay reign, but I feel like Sami's reign really kind of went unnoticed, and they didn't really do much with Sami Zayn after he beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And honestly, I haven't felt the Intercontinental Championship be important since Gunther has held it. Do you feel like there's some sort of stress on AEW Creative to continue that importance after what Mercedes has put into that title? Because if they don't, I feel like it's just going to be a waste of Mercedes' work over 500 plus days.
I mean, I don't know exactly like what you're getting at as far as like she held it for a long time.
I know, but that's
true.
The way you look at it, the way that I look at it anyway, is I feel like it's in some ways more important than what Chris Statlander's holding, because Mercedes put a lot of work into it to build it up, to build its prestige. Normally, when the championship is lost to someone like Willow and it becomes like this hot potato title, I just feel like all the work that Mercedes put into it is kind of lost, and it doesn't hold that same value.
No, I wouldn't. I don't see it that way. I mean, look, Statlander beat Tony Storm to win the world title. Tony Storm is legitimately one of the biggest stars of any kind in the entire company. So that, I think it's pretty well regarded as like that's the top women's championship. Mercedes holding it for this long and going on this, title expedition, added value to the TBS title that it didn't have, like when Jade had it or anybody else held it. That's true. But now it's in the hands of someone who's a big fan favorite, who I think has a lot of credibility in the eyes of the fans. But I don't think that there's this need that, okay, she has to hold it for a year or she has to hold it for a certain period of time because Mercedes had it for a long time. So I don't think the length has anything to do with it. Is there pressure on Tony to have Willow go out there and constantly defend the title, let's say in competitive matches on TV, to keep up the kind of the prestige of the belt? That's probably what we're going to see. I would imagine Willow will probably be defending that title on television, and maybe she'll get a couple of pay-per-view defenses out of it, but then she'll probably drop it to somebody else. Like, the title's already been established. So the need to continue doing exactly the same thing as before, I don't think there's a pressure to do that. Just have credible people challenging for the title and have competitive matches. Like, it's been established now. So now you have this established secondary title, and there's plenty of women in the division to challenge for it. So just keep the competition up. We talked about MJF and all these people coming out of the woodwork saying they want to crack at his belt. They should do the same thing with the TBS title. They should have the Sisters of Sin or Megan Bayne or Marina Shafir or whoever saying, hey, I want a shot at Willow in that TBS title. Because Willow's been feuding. Even she was in Blood and Guts, right? She's been feuding with all these people. Yeah. They should be coming after her now.
Yeah.
They should be all lined up to come after her. They've been feuding with her for months anyway.
I guess I don't want the championship to be on Willow and then all of a sudden end up buried on Collision is what I don't want. You know?
Well, they may want the world title to be featured and contested on one show and then the TBS title to be contested on the other show. But think about it. If that's the case, then the TBS title should be defended on TBS.
Yeah.
And the other title should be defended on the other show, but they're not going to relegate, the women's world title to the secondary show.
No.
It is kind of goofy how like the TNT championship and the TBS championship, they have these, they're branded a certain way. I mean, I guess the TNT title probably has been defended more on TNT recently than in the past, but even just as names for those belts, I've always found them to be very lame.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, yeah.
It is. It's like having a USA Network title, like a Netflix title. It'd be very dumb.
Don't give them any ideas.
I'm sure they would probably consider it.
Mercedes loses, and Willow is the new TBS champion. All in all, a very good match between these two. And like Jason said, and I agree wholeheartedly, Willow is one of the more entertaining females in that division, and she is very much worth a TBS championship run. So that was the main event of Dynamite. All in all, a good show, and we will see where they go into the rest of January. I know Collision has a residency at the Esports Arena, and Dynamite is heading towards their next theme show, which is Maximum Carnage. Not this coming Wednesday, but next week.
Well, there is a lights out match tomorrow night.
There is. They couldn't wait to get the no DQ, no AEW standards and practices out the window. All blood
and Swerve and
no
Hangman
DQ.
are in it, so that means we're probably going to have blood and weapons and all kinds of stuff.
Vampiric activities, I'm assuming, huh?
Drinking of the blood, yes. Staple guns, all that stuff.
Yeah, staple guns and chains. I'm assuming we'll see next or tomorrow rather. So that's coming. It's who's that again? Samoa Joe and Hobbs or Hook and Hobbs? Who's that?
Hook and Hobbs.
Oh, Hook and Hobbs. Okay, that's tomorrow on Dynamite. We'll be live. I'll be live. Jason will be live. So you guys know where to find us. Shifting gears into Friday Night SmackDown, which I thought was the best show of the week. And that is a lot to say because SmackDown has largely been awful for most of 2025, but they did what they needed to do. God forbid they did not come out swinging for the fences on Friday. Their fucking feet would have been held to the fire all week. So this was a 3-hour show. We are now in the 3-hour era of SmackDown, which Brian Alvarez again reiterated this week that it is only temporary, may only be temporary. So I'm assuming that with WrestleMania season, they feel like the show operates better at 3 hours. It's a bigger WrestleMania build. And I think a USA Network idea is that, it's a nice lead-in for whatever they are coming up in the summer and fall months. So that's what their whole mentality is there. But for a 3-hour show, Jason, I know some people were saying, look, SmackDown's turning the corner, and I have to kind of reel everybody in and say, guys, it's one show. Let's get 3, 4, 5, 6 shows under our belt with some consistency and some fanfare, and then maybe we'll start talking about SmackDown changing over or turning over a new leaf. One show is not going to change people's perceptions, but I thought what they did on Friday night was an excellent show to at least start the 3-hour era going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was better than I was expecting it to be. The no wrestling show needs to be 3 hours every single week. But what really stood out to me on this show was the introduction of new faces. Because if you are going to have a 3-hour weekly show, you have an extra hour of content. Well, not really an hour, let's be honest. It's like 40 minutes of commercials, but you have an extra 20 minutes of actual content to fill on this show. You're going to have to, especially on this roster on Friday nights, they really need some help. So it was imperative that they introduce some new faces, and that was what was encouraging to see. We saw Matt Cardona, who we now know is a full-time member of the SmackDown roster. He is back. Trick Williams, which was, we saw that he was sort of popping around and talking to the GMs.
Trick Willie?
He has found, Trick Willie, or what do you call himself when he was a TNA champion? Trick and A champion?
Yes, the Trick and A champion.
Did you think that was a good idea when he came up with that? Trick and A?
No, it's awful.
So he is officially now a member of the SmackDown roster. And Jordan Grace is not yet officially a member, but it looks like she probably will end up on the SmackDown roster. She had an interaction in the back with Chelsea Green, and then she had an interaction with Jade Cargill. And long overdue to see her on the main roster. And there's probably going to be more, but for now, it looks like those are the names. And Obafemi, we're still seeing video packages for him. We don't know which show he'll end up on. I feel like it should be on Fridays.
I think it'll end up being Raw, honestly.
Even with Javon Evans on Raw?
Yeah.
I think SmackDown can use him more.
Me too.
See, I don't know. Well, because here's the thing, though. Like, well, I guess Brock I got my eyes towards maybe an Oba Brock match. Brock's a free agent, though, so he could pop up anywhere he wants.
So's Roman.
In that, well, yes. But I'm not thinking about an Oba Roman match yet. I'm thinking about Oba and Brock.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want Oba and Gunther on the same show. So I would, if it were me, I would keep them on separate brands for now. But we had a bunch of new faces on the show. And so that helped breathe a little bit of new life into things. And then you see the push of Carmelo Hayes finally after all this time. He's the U.S. champion and he's getting great reactions. So you watch that show and there were reasons to be optimistic. But like you said, it's 1 week. You can have the talent, but then it's how you utilize that talent, right, going forward. So we'll see what week 2 looks like and then so on and so forth. But let's start with Cardona because they were building up all week that Kit Wilson was going to be wrestling a mystery man. And
Kit Wilson, bro. Everybody's talking about Kit Wilson this week.
Did you hear that music?
Yeah, it's bad.
Apparently he's been using it for months. I only first even recognized it or heard it on Friday.
I never heard that music in my entire life before Friday.
I don't know. There were people saying, I don't know what people are talking. He's been using that music for months because nobody gave a shit. That music, honestly, I swear to God, when that music first hit, I thought one of the women were coming out. I thought it was for someone in the women's division that was maybe.
Bro, did you see the work that they put into his fucking big screen video? Like they don't even do that for some of the NXT guys getting called up.
I think they need to bring back Titantrons is what they need to do. But
I don't know.
Did you on the Vault today, a few hours ago, did you see that they posted 25 minutes of classic Attitude Era Titantron videos?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Just Titantron videos for like Austin, Rock, Undertaker, like DX. And I'm like, where are the Titantrons? We need a return of actual Titantron videos for these people. But yeah, they put a lot of effort into this Kit Wilson entrance for a guy who's just as low as it goes on the roster. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're going to debut somebody from NXT. Like I was curious, like who is this person going to be? This can't be how they debut Obafemi. And then they play Zack Ryder's music. And I was not expecting that. You know, we had the one cameo during the John Cena tournament, but I wasn't expecting him to come out. But I thought it was cool the way that it then transitioned from Zack Ryder to Matt Cardona.
Yeah, people were thinking they did it on by accident. Like, oh, they fucked up. No, I think they did it purposely.
Yeah, no, they of course they did it purposely. Who was saying that? Who said that it was an accident?
People were saying that WWE fucked up. Like, no, they didn't. It was clearly designed to be that way.
Dude, the lower third graphic said Matt Cardona.
Yes.
It wasn't just like the Tron.
I know.
All right. Well, that's ridiculous. Anyway, so I was very happy to see him going by that name because that's the name that I know he wanted to go by if he ever came back. And so good. Zack Ryder is now dead. And Matt Cardona is on SmackDown. And I'm sure he is elated. And I'm sure Chelsea Green is elated because now they get to travel together. They get to be on the same show. But you know this. Like, this is something that he has been working towards for years. Like, this is something he has wanted. He made no bones about the fact that he wanted to be back in WWE. I'm always ready. I'm always ready for the call. He was hoping for like a Rumble cameo. And it was just bizarre how there was never any outreach. And he's killing it on the indies and he's getting people. The thing about him on the indies is it's not about him going out there and having 5-star matches on the indies. Like, the guy knew how to get his name out there. He knows how to promote. He knows he could be a great heel. We've seen him as a great heel on the indies. The Deathmatch King, the Indie God. Like, he completely reinvented himself and became like uber relevant and made a lot of money and was very successful. And WWE just never seemed to have any interest in reaching out to him. So it took almost 6 years, but now he's back. So I'm happy for him for that. I think him going 50-50 with Kit Wilson was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Way too much offense there.
Yeah, I mean, and I was curious, like, how long did this match go? It felt like a 6 or 7 minute match.
Easy.
It was only 4 minutes. It felt so much longer.
Well, then Kit Wilson got more than 50% offense then.
Yes, he did. That's my point. Like, it was more than 50-50 in favor of the guy who never wins anything. So that wasn't exactly the best way to reintroduce him. But I think it gives you a sense of like probably where they see him on that show. He's not going to be the guy on the show challenging, Cody Rhodes anytime soon. And I don't even necessarily see him challenging Carmelo Hayes. I think, and I'd love to be wrong on this, but I see him as a solid veteran addition to the middle of that card on SmackDown, and probably the guy that they are going to use to work with some of these newer faces that we are seeing pop up on SmackDown. Because there are going to be call-ups. There's going to be people coming up from NXT. And that's, at least initially, that's probably, I would think, the role that they might have for him. But that's a solid addition there, to that roster. And it's a guy who knows how to get himself over. Whatever the role is. I don't know if they're going to keep him as a babyface. Maybe they want him as a heel. But he's very good at that. And so I like the move. And more than anything, I'm just happy for him because it's a story of perseverance and not giving up and just continuing to grind it out. And then he ended up, it paid off for him in the end. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I said very similar on my Friday night stream when I covered the show. There was actually a quote from his podcast today, the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. He revealed a sentimental detail regarding the moment he put pen to paper on his new deal. He noted that he made sure to have a piece of his independent career with him during the signing. He says, when I signed my WWE contract, I signed it with my GCW title in my lap. If it wasn't for GCW, I wouldn't be the indie god. If I wasn't the indie god, I wouldn't be back in WWE. I firmly believe that. When I got fired, I looked at the picture of me and my dad at WrestleMania, and when I got rehired, I was holding that GCW title. I'm very sentimental about that. That's when I got the call at dinner during WrestleCade. Hey, we're interested. Let's start talking. I was like, oh boy, here we go. It was very stressful in a good way. Like, not bad stress, but still, like, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? And then finally signed Christmas week. So it was, like, very sudden. Then it's like, okay, am I Zack Ryder? Am I Matt Cardona? So I'm having both sets of gear made and designed. Now, he was in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. Obviously, that opened up the doors for discussion as well. And then he detailed what he had done in the weeks leading up to sign the contract. I agree. I think Matt Cardona is, you look at him as a pro wrestler and see the body of work that he did on the indies. Jason and I were in the buildings for some of his matches during his House of the Glory stint. I mean, there was nobody that really played a crowd like Matt Cardona. I mean, the sheer fucking volatile hatred that was being showered at him. I mean, I was in the building when he and Nick Gage did the thing at the Showboat in the Atlantic City. I was legitimately fourth row, and I was in the middle of that chaos. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. All of a sudden, I see Matt Cardona whiz by me out into onto the casino floor with Chelsea Green, and then they got the fuck out of harm's way. That was a volatile environment. And then, the heel that he played as the indie god and just kind of taking his ball and running with it and just having the freedom to do whatever he wanted. He is someone that followed that Cody Rhodes blueprint and put his own stamp on it. And that is quite the inspiration. And he's always been very vocal about, you can give up in your life after WWE, or you could bust your ass and go out there and work. And that's exactly what he's done. So I'm very happy for him. I have a little bit more higher hope than Jason does for Matt Cardona. I could see him working with the indies, but I also could see him back in that United States Championship title picture. All I hope for is that I hope that he is better used than Carlito, because we felt the same way about Carlito. Look at how great Carlito looks. He's in the best shape of his career. Matt Cardona is in the best shape of his career, and that went nowhere. So hopefully they look at him as much better than Carlito, and I think he could be a nice asset to Friday nights.
Well, I also think it would be cool to see him and Chelsea working together in some way. And so my thought was, I also would love to see this whole like Ethan Page, Chelsea Green pairing continue. So if and when the time comes that Ethan gets called up and maybe he ends up on SmackDown, I wouldn't mind like a new faction brewing where they're all part of the same group. You have like Cardona, Ethan, Chelsea, maybe one other person, and they kind of form their own crew, because I think the Secret Hervis stuff is just death. I just think it's so cringe at this point. And so that's a pairing, that I would love to see on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think, how about maybe pairing Chelsea with Ethan against Matt Cardona? You think that would be a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that too, but I kind of feel like maybe them all being together could be, because right now we have the Wyatts and we have the MFTs. Like, so... having them maybe
soon to be tag team champion MFTs, bro. You can't forget.
Yeah, don't remind me. But yeah, I mean that works too. You would have to have Cardona paired off with somebody else, though, whoever that other person would be. But yeah, hopefully they have, because something like that at least would get him in an actual spot instead of just kind of being an island all unto himself. And you just kind of use him when you have a need for him to maybe go in there and do a job to somebody. I mean, yeah, I'm not as optimistic maybe as you are, just based on two things. Number one, the way he was used previously. And number two, it took this long for them to even call him. If he was someone that they looked at as like, okay, we got to have this guy, right? He would have been in a lot sooner. So I'm glad it happened now. It took forever. But it's like, do they have a real solid role in mind for him? Or as I said, is the idea, okay, he's a great veteran guy to have on the roster and we could do some stuff with him, but like he will have sort of this designated role on the show where he helps kind of build up other people. That's kind of my I'd love to be wrong about that, but that's kind of my sense of things.
What did take them so long, and then why bring him in now? What's their motive? We don't know. We don't know what WWE's motive is. Keeping him away from someone else, maybe? I have no idea. So
no, if they were going to do that, they would have signed him a long time ago.
Yeah. So he's back. Glad he's back. I think he's going to be a nice addition to Friday nights. Also on the show, like we've been talking about, Trick Williams, him and Sami Zayn had a great segment. And I think that is the right pairing for young Trick Williams on this show, being paired with the super over babyface veteran in Sami Zayn. And it's a simple story to tell, Jason, because Sami not only made mention in the promo that, he was thinking and contemplating while sitting front row at the John Cena retirement match in Washington on December 13th, and his son looked over at him, and he said that his son asked him, why do they call John Cena the Never Seen 17? And Sami Zayn said, well, he's won the championship 17 times. And then his son asked, where's your championship, Daddy? He's never won the world championship. So
that's a deep cut.
Well, it's true. It's a sentimental, like, it's a story that is relatable. And I think everybody can get on board with that, whether you're a parent or you want something that you're striving for and just haven't attained yet. So I like that he added that in there, and then he obviously went into the whole spiel about he will be a world champion. This is not the first time he said it. He will be a world champion in 2026. And then out comes Trick Williams. And I think Trick Williams coming out at that spot, Jason, was a very good spot to have him come out at, because Trick, obviously, you look at him, he's a fucking superstar through and through just by appearance. He sounded like a superstar. The fucking fans were chanting along with his theme song. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better debut on Friday night than what Trick Williams got. But he comes out there and he's one of those guys that thinks that his shit doesn't stink, and then he's going to throw it in Sami Zayn's face and saying, I'm going to be a world champion before you. It's not going to take me 20 years to get there. And Sami says he's going to humble Trick Williams. I think that is the perfect storyline for someone like Trick Williams and the cocky character that he plays, to go out there and target someone like Sami Zayn, who the fans are clearly behind and want to see win a world championship.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out there, dude, like he just felt like a star. Yeah, when he walked out there, he had a certain swagger to him where it's like, okay, this guy, and I always felt this way. We're seeing Carmelo Hayes now having success, finally, real success on the main roster, and he's a tremendous talent. And as compared to Trick Williams, he has more experience than him, but he's a better wrestler than him. But I think that Trick's ceiling is higher than Carmelo's.
I agree.
I do. I just think WWE sees him as someone that, okay, this could be like the guy, right? And maybe not the guy, but like, you know what I mean? Like up in that atmosphere. And I think he'll probably have the chance to get there a lot sooner than someone like Carmelo Hayes will, just because you look at him and the way he carries himself, and he's got the gift of gab on the microphone. He kind of is, I think, kind of a prototype of what they look for, like in a star. So I think he's going to do really well, and I think working with Sami, you can't go wrong. It's a great first person to work with. They're going to build to it. I know this week he's wrestling Rey Fenix, so we all know how that's going to go for Rey Fenix. But whenever they're going to do this first match, it could be a TV match. It could be, I don't know. I mean, there's Saturday night's main events coming up in a few weeks.
Well, maybe they just meet in the Rumble.
Could be. Well, I don't know. I mean, Sammy said, I'm going to humble you. I would think that means they're going to do a singles match.
Yeah.
Maybe they do the singles match on Saturday night's main event, and then they're both in the Rumble the following weekend and continue.
Yeah, but does Trick lose his debut match to Sammy?
No, he
Zayn?
wins.
Okay.
No, I think he wins, but maybe Sammy eliminates him from the Rumble.
I can see that.
And then Trick is like, fuck this, and he pulls Sammy out.
Yeah. I could absolutely see that. I thought that was a great segment. I've been pitching. I don't know how you feel about this. I know everybody says Trick Williams got world championship material. There is going to be a time and a place for that to happen. There's no reason why we're going to rush him towards a world championship. I mean, Gunther went after the Intercontinental Championship and held that for 600 plus days. No reason to shoot Trick Williams up the ladder so quickly. I think there's a growing period that needs to happen, win a mid-card championship first and then kind of graduate on to one of the bigger championships. I would say the perfect match for both of them, if Trick is going to be included in WrestleMania plans, is obviously that Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes United States Championship title feud that I've been pitching on Friday night. I think that would be perfect. I think that's the best match for Carmelo at this point going into WrestleMania. I don't know how you feel about it, but I would love for them to kind of do away with the open challenge for a little bit. Maybe give that United States Championship a little bit more story, because they do have story, and then build towards that going into WrestleMania.
No, they're not going to get. No, I mean, he flat out said he's continuing the open challenge, and that's fine, because I think when he loses it to a heel, maybe Trick, that's where it ends. Because there's no reason for a heel to continue the open challenge. But I mean, he already told Dragunov on Friday, like, Dragunov asked him, "Are you going to continue the open challenge?" He goes, "Yes, I will continue the open challenge." So it's going to go on for a while. He's going to lose it eventually. When he loses it, I think that's when the open challenge dies.
I hope so. But I do think that should be the trajectory for both of those guys going into WrestleMania. But Trick Williams had a great first showing on Friday night, and he will be wrestling Rey Fenix this coming Friday on SmackDown from Berlin, Germany.
Well, you're really optimistic. You think that's going to be? You think that title is being defended at WrestleMania?
Well, I mean, probably not. But I'm just trying in my mind. Maybe I'm very hopeful, because after last year's disaster of WrestleMania, I'm just hoping that they absolutely blow us away this year. But I mean, after what we got last night, I'm not really holding my breath. Yeah, but it's just something that I'm formulating in my mind that I know will not come out. You know, it's not going to
be. It just reeks of Friday Night SmackDown the night before WrestleMania to me.
I don't know, man. Trick Williams WrestleMania entrance? Come on. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool.
I mean, he just debuted. I mean, if your plan is to hope that he's around for the next 10 years, he'll have plenty of other opportunities to have a big WrestleMania entrance.
Sure. Another return that we got, which I'm finally happy he decided to come back to work, is Randy Orton. The way that they returned him was less than enthusiastic, because we got the show starting off, a 3-hour show, mind you, with The Miz. And we got tiny balls being chanted. Randy Orton came out. We had a big sing-along. And he eventually ended The Miz with an RKO twice. And he basically is back and going after the World Championship, because literally in the following segment, he met up with Cody Rhodes and explicitly stated that he is gunning for the World Championship no matter who the champion is. When you beat Drew, I'm coming after that. And he pointed to the championship.
So
now,
does that mean Royal Rumble?
Well, that was going to be my follow-up to you here, because as of Friday, we have that big championship match. We have Cody versus Drew, 3 stages of hell. The stipulations have already been laid out. The first fall will be a regular wrestling match. The second fall will be a false count anywhere match. And the third will be an old school steel cage. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. Are they bringing back the blue cages? Probably not.
No, it just means, steel cage is as old school as it gets.
All right. So we got those 3 stipulations laid out. I guess we'll start with the stipulations in the 3 stages of hell, Jason. I know we've been quoted saying here that the only reason why they have made this 3 stages of hell a thing is because they want to give Drew a visual win over Cody Rhodes without actually having him win the championship. So I talked about it last night. I think you and I felt the same way, that we both wanted Braun Breaker to win the championship from CM Punk, but as the weeks went on, we kind of felt that maybe they weren't going to do the title change. But if you held a gun to my head and asked me, one of these guys has to be the world champion, or the world championship has to switch hands, who are you choosing? I'm going Drew. 7 days out of the week over Braun Breaker. Does last night's outcome change your mind about Drew McIntyre potentially winning the World Championship on Friday?
I think it increases his chances by like 5%.
That's all?
That he'll win. Yeah, I mean, dude,
5%.
It's Drew
I'd give him
McIntyre.
a little bit better than 5%, bro.
It's Drew McIntyre in the world title, dude. Like, it's a story as old as time. You know, he's going to probably get screwed out of the championship somehow. I'd love to be wrong about that. It definitely makes it more likely, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, he's definitely winning the title. I don't feel that way. I feel like there's a much better chance that Cody is going to retain. Now, whether that's a Jacob Fatu getting involved or someone getting involved, I think there's a distinct possibility we see the return of Jacob Fatu on that show. But then again, I also thought that there was a good chance we would see the return of LA Knight last night, you know, kind of costing the Vision, and he was nowhere to be found. So I just don't have the confidence, you know. I just don't have, and frankly, they haven't really given me a lot of reason to be confident that they are going to take the title off Cody this close to WrestleMania. I don't see an issue with doing it, even if it's a short run, but I don't know that they feel that same way. So as far as the stipulations, it's about what you would expect for a 3 stages of hell match. I mean, could they have done a ladder match or you know, like a last man standing? Sure, they could have, but almost all of these matches start with a regular match, right? Which is kind of goofy if you think about it. It's 3 stages of hell, right? There's nothing really hellacious about a regular wrestling match.
No, Paul Levesque had to confer with Big Bird on Sesame Street to see what the stipulations he wanted for this match. So he went with the most basic of basic matches.
Yeah, so the stipulations were pretty much in line. Honestly, you mentioned Triple H. It's like more or less the same stipulations he and Austin had for theirs.
It is.
Except it was like a street fight instead of a Falls Count Anywhere match. If I had to guess, Cody will win the first fall. Drew will win the second. And then it comes down to the cage match, and I'm still leaning towards Cody to retain. I just feel
Jacob Fatu enters the cage somehow and fucks over Drew McIntyre?
I think there's a good chance of it. But that's if the plan is to have it revealed that Drew is the one who attacked Fatu.
So then
that's the only way that makes sense.
It would be January 9th, Friday. Mm-hmm. The following Friday, I mean, you don't have a lot of time to build a Cody-Randy match. Are you just going to do a Cody-Randy match in Saudi for the WWE Championship just because of their name value alone, or is there going to be some sort of story there?
Randy told him, beat Drew. When you beat Drew, I'm coming after the title. And Cody could be like, Cody respects Randy. He's friends with him. It's like, I promised you, yes, you get the next shot. And it would now if they did that, it would kind of feel like maybe the first match of what will be an actual program, and maybe it would extend into WrestleMania. I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, it just feels to me like Cody and Randy is probably the direction for that title at the Royal Rumble.
If Cody and Randy happens at the Royal Rumble, is that going to end up being the WrestleMania match to you?
I think they go with Cody and Roman.
Still, okay.
I think Roman wins the Rumble, and because after last night, Braun Breaker is definitely in the mix of favorites to win the Royal Rumble, but I still feel like we're going to get Roman back soon. And when you think about what Roman would be doing at WrestleMania, I'm not saying I want Roman in that spot, but realistically, right? He's going to be in a major match at WrestleMania. If not the main event, what else would he be doing?
It's either going to be Cody or Punk. One or the other.
Cody or for Roman.
For Roman, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's why I still feel like it's the rumors are probably true. And I think Cody and Roman 3 is what they want to do in Vegas. I think they want to complete the trilogy, and Roman's going to come back. And I just can't think of anything else that they would be doing with Roman if it didn't involve one of those two guys at WrestleMania.
I have no interest in seeing Roman win the Royal Rumble. I agree with some in the chat that said that. I have no interest in that as well. Do you think Obafemi possibly costs Drew at Friday SmackDown, or is that too far-fetched?
Why would he do that, though? I mean, Drew didn't cost him a championship.
He didn't, but he kind of interjected himself in that big match with him and Cody at Saturday Night's Main Event.
He did, but then Oba put him down with a chokeslam. Got the last laugh. If he would have if the titles were on the line and he cost him potentially the WWE Championship, then yes, absolutely. But in this case, it would feel like he could, because he cost him a potential win in a non-title match.
Just covering all my bases here, just running through all the variables for
Yeah,
Friday.
I don't know. I don't see that.
But Randy Orton's back. He did make Cody his a statement to Cody Rhodes about the WWE Championship. So we will be seeing that hopefully this year, and they don't sit on that any longer. So outside that, we had Carmelo Hayes, Johnny Gargano. That was a great match. They went almost 20 minutes. It was just a banger match. Very, very old school black and gold style match. Carmelo even mentioned something about it being a black and gold dream match for him. So Gargano finds himself all by himself, Jason, as DIY may be no longer. And apparently, Tommaso Ciampa has a contract coming up, and he reportedly plans to leave the WWE when that contract expires. Now, this is coming from bodyslam.net. Ciampa's contract is coming up. Currently plans on finishing up his time with the company without a renewal. Report indicates that Ciampa intends to let his current deal expire rather than sign an extension. It remains unclear what Ciampa has chosen to do following WWE or why he hasn't signed the new deal. We have no idea. So he was last seen on WWE programming on December 19th. He teamed with Gargano in a losing effort against Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. Now, again, we don't know. Ciampa is, I'm assuming Ciampa's banged up. He had that nasty neck injury that took him out of TakeOver New York, which Adam Cole filled in for that major world title program there. It really kind of put a kibosh on the Johnny Gargano-Tommaso Ciampa feud on NXT television, which, I mean, we still got a tremendous, unbelievable moment, but, I mean, it would have been just fucking over the top with Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano in the main event. I don't know what happened to DIY specifically, both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I remember, let me know if you remember this. Remember when Vince called both Gargano and Ricochet up out of nowhere? It was like legitimately like the week of, and they just, I think he even paired them in a tag team match together. It's like, I don't know what the fuck they were doing on the main roster. And this was in a day and age where Triple H has always stated, we're not going to call anybody up unless we have a solid plan for them. So Vince blew that all up, and I don't know why he wanted those two guys, but he got what he wanted, and it was something along the lines of he wanted to take Triple H's best and throw them into the deep end of the pool to see if they swam. I don't know why he would be so reckless with talent like that. I guess it's Vince, so I'm not surprised. But Ciampa was arguably not only the greatest heel in NXT, but maybe the greatest heel of the fucking modern era in WWE. I mean, his work in WWE was tremendous. They carried that show. Gargano was the biggest babyface. Ciampa was the biggest heel. They had an absolutely incredible feud. It was basically Triple H and Shawn Michaels living vicariously through Gargano and Ciampa. That never translated to the main roster. Why is that? I mean, they were so great. So why don't you think they would be so great on the main roster?
I mean, it's all about booking and positioning. Do you remember how they debuted Ciampa?
What was it against The Miz?
With The Miz.
Yeah, I remember, yep.
I mean, come on, man. Like, they were never positioned the same way. Because in NXT, they were, big fish in a small pond. And so on the main roster, much bigger pond, and they were never positioned as top guys the way they were in NXT. And NXT had a different kind of audience, and they got over because of those kick-ass matches that they were having. And they never really had the chance to show that on the main roster. Gargano either. Like, him having that match he had with Carmelo Hayes this week is kind of like a singles match like that on the main roster for him. That's a rarity. Like, how many of those types of matches has even Johnny Gargano been able to have on Raw or SmackDown since he got called up?
Couldn't tell you what the last one was.
There's your answer. That's what got them over in NXT. And they told that great story. They were partners and friends, and then the betrayal and the heel turn and all that. And we just never got to see that on the main roster. The main roster audience never got to see what made DIY so great. And then you add in also, like you said, the fact that Ciampa is, beat up. He's had injuries. He's got a surgically repaired neck. He missed time he had some kind of hip operation where he missed a whole bunch of months. I think this was right after he debuted on the main roster. So, and he's also 40 years old. So he's a 40-year-old guy and they got a lot of those on the WWE roster, but a 40-year-old guy that has, a jacked up neck. And so I don't think they were ever going to push him in any kind of really meaningful way as a single star. I don't know why, if this is true, I don't know why he's stepping away. He can have any number of reasons. Maybe he's genuinely unhappy in some way with his spot and wants to maybe take his services somewhere else. Maybe he just wants to take a break. Maybe he'll be right back in WWE at some point later this year. Just because he's stepping away now, if that's what he chooses to do, doesn't mean that he won't come back. And I'm sure Triple H would love to have him back. It doesn't mean that he's going
like a Santos Escobar.
Yeah, but his situation was different because I think it was smart because he kind of leveraged it into this incredible deal, and yet he still has not reappeared on television yet.
Yes, he's got the catering contract.
He's got the catering contract that apparently is paying him a lot more money than what he was making before. So, if you can get the Santos Escobar deal, then you got it made. So, yeah, it's just but this doesn't mean he's going to AEW or anything. Honestly, if he was leaving to go somewhere else, I actually think TNA would be a good fit for him. I feel like in TNA, besides the fact that he would have a whole new roster of people to work with, it's again a smaller pond, kind of similar to NXT in that way. But also he would have the freedom to go ahead and work even outside the company and work maybe indie shots if he wants to. And he'll do well on the indies. If he wanted to do, even a match here and there, that's something he doesn't have the freedom to do in WWE. So maybe something like that. Maybe it would be even an easier schedule. I could see him being pushed as a top guy in TNA, and they still have the relationship with WWE. So he could still make appearances on NXT television or go back and forth. Maybe that's a better fit for him. And they got the AMC deal. So at a time when TNA is getting this new TV deal on Thursday nights, I'm just saying, if he was unhappy and wanted to go somewhere else, I think that would be the best place for him, honestly.
Yeah, I like that. I think AEW should be out of the question. I don't think AEW is a good fit for him at this stage of his career with the style that they work. I would be very fearful of Ciampa working AEW. I don't think his body can withstand that for too long. I'm just kind of disappointed in the fact that Triple H loved these guys. He's now completely in charge, and it's easy to blame Vince for how he kind of started these guys out and it snowballed into what it is now. But Triple H has had a nice grip on both of these guys, and he's been able to do what he's wanted to do with them, and he hasn't. Same thing with Ricochet. If he wanted to push Ricochet as a meaningful talent after the dismal way Vince used him, he would have done it. He didn't do it. And a lot of these NXT guys just kind of fall at the wayside. And it's amazing the collection of talent that was fucking tremendous in NXT. Gargano, Ciampa, Andrade. The list goes on and on. I don't have a list in front of me, but it's at least over a dozen, easy, that don't translate to the main roster, but have this incredible run on NXT. And you look at them down there and it's like, man, these guys are going to be fucking unbelievable on the main roster. And then when they get there, it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Where was the creative that you gave us down at Full Sail? You see none of that.
Yeah, there's a whole laundry list of guys who got over in a major way in NXT, and then they go to the main roster, and either they just don't get over, or they're just not booked in the same way that they were down in NXT. And I think back to a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura, who he came into NXT, and dude, he was a big fucking deal when he came in.
That Sami Zayn match, I watched at least over a dozen times, easy.
I was in the third row ringside for that match. So I in the building that night in Dallas, it was an atmosphere. And so with him, it was you talk about aura, right? The entrance, the music. And then this is also back when he was really, still putting the effort in, and he was, actually going out there, and he was motivated enough to have a Shinsuke Nakamura match. It was also 10 years ago. And then they called him up to the main roster, and dude, he got jobbed out to Jinder Mahal. You want to know where it all went wrong for Nakamura.
You also want to know what almost killed Friday Night SmackDown. There you go.
Yeah. He was fed to Jinder Mahal. He lost twice on pay-per-views to him that year and failed to win the WWE Championship. So it was more important to get Jinder Mahal over, and they used Nakamura as a vehicle to do so. and he was never the same after that. I'm sorry. That to me, I go back to that. That was in 2017, the year he got called up. So, but you can find different examples. Keith Lee, I mean, he had health issues also, but the fucking Bearcat stuff, like, I mean, we can go on and on.
Carrying cross.
And it's it's a shame because not everybody is going to get over in the same way, but there's a lot of those guys who should have ended up a lot better off than they did. And it's a shame, and I just feel like Ciampa, we talked about Matt Cardona before and what I think his role on the show may end up being. I feel like Ciampa, and who knows, maybe he recognized the same thing. He's in this weird spot where he's never going to be Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre or somebody like that. But now they're also calling up all these new faces. So where does he fit in? You know what I mean? Like they're going to want to push the new faces, and then you have the top guys. And he doesn't fit into either of those. Again, he's in his 40s, you know, with some serious injuries in the past, and he's been there for a while now. He's just sort of in this weird purgatory. And maybe that's just not what he wants, you know, and he wants to just step away for a bit, which he's earned the right to do that if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's a bitter pill to swallow being such a huge fan of what they did. I mean, they rekindled a passion for pro wrestling in me anyway, watching that feud and watching their body of work, that it's so sad to see it not be duplicated on the main roster. And I do think that it may be a case of the WWE moving on in a different direction, and he knows that he's not, you know, fit for the ecosystem there anymore. He once was, and now he's not. And I find it to be incredibly sad that this current generation never got to live through the story that those guys told on Black and Gold. It could have worked on the main roster, and I'm sad that the main roster audience didn't have the opportunity to see, because I genuinely think if they played their cards right and they built them up to a certain level, that it could have worked again, and if you wanted to tell that story. But, you know, it's very sad that some of you guys never really got to experience it when it really was happening.
Well,
So
the two best matches he ever had on the main roster both happened last year, and they were both TLC matches. You know,
Yep.
The one right after WrestleMania on TV, and then the big one that they did at SummerSlam. Those were probably the two best main roster matches that he was a part of.
yeah, no, I agree. And that happened, what'd you say, in the last calendar year? Legitimately in his final contract year.
Both of them legitimately, that and his U.S. title match with
Dragunov.
Dragunov. All happened in 2025.
So we'll keep an eye on Ciampa. I think TNA is a very good option for him, or like we discussed, he may be just taking some time off. I know Triple H is very high on both of those guys. I don't think he wants to see him go anywhere, but maybe he uses this time to recharge, come back. Maybe Triple H brings him back. We'll keep an eye on that. But Ciampa, as of now, the report from Body Slam is that he is on his way out of the company. Julia won the United States Championship. Quickly here, Jason. I mean, I saw this and my immediate reaction was, well, we're right back to where we started, and the women's division is still the same. So what exactly do they expect to change here?
Well, with any hope, we're getting new faces. Jordan Grace might be one of them. We'll see where she lands. If she is going to have new faces to work with, that is going to be, I think, a prerequisite to this possibly working. She can't just keep working with Michin and BFAB and Zelina and people like that. So if she's going to be working with some newer faces, and if they would just let Julia go out there and be Julia, because she's another one like some of these NXT Black and Gold folks who her work will speak for itself. Her work is what will get her over. And we just haven't been able to see that version, that side of her yet. I'm withholding judgment until I actually see something with my own two eyes that leads me to believe that they actually know what the fuck they're doing with her. So, hey, she won the belt back. Great. To me, it means nothing until I see what the actual follow-up plan is.
Well, hopefully that follow-up includes getting rid of Kiana James, because the pairing is not working, clearly. I think Kiana needs to be on her own. I think she's solid enough where I think if you give her some time to build her own character, I think that would be a nice asset to the women's division. But like Jason said, he's a little bit more hopeful than I am. I don't have any faith in this writing team, especially when it comes to Julia. I mean, the work that they had her doing with that United States Championship was so terrible Like it is truly unforgivable, and I don't really trust them to do anything. But again, Jason is correct in his assessment of like we need new talent, and if the talent that we're hearing gets called up, it could very much change the perception of things. And two of those names are JC Jane and, believe it or not, Blake Monroe. Now, Blake Monroe's name was going around yesterday. Today, JC Jane is in the news, so we'll start with Blake Monroe. Fightful and Strong Raw Sap have learned that Blake Monroe has been discussed for a main roster call-up. They are told that the move has been talked about in recent weeks, with some on the Raw brand believing she will end up there. There was also discussion that immediate plans with Blake Monroe could be changing, including as soon as this week. Now, I don't know what happened on NXT. She was supposed to be wrestling Thea Hale for that botched spot over the Women's North American Championship. So I don't know. But the other one is, Jason, JC Jane. Fightful has been told that years ago, JC Jane made a good impression upon her SmackDown debut. Ever since that August 22 appearance, there's been a semi-regular discussion for a call-up. JC Jane has been the NXT World Champion in 2025, and obviously she is a part of Fatal Influence. So
yeah, and Ava from NXT just announced that Jordynne Grace is officially called up to SmackDown.
There you go. So that's a good foot in the right direction. Blake Monroe, we'll start there, Jason. I feel like Raw is so stacked. Like, I don't think they really need any other women. I think they're good. Maybe one. I'm not gonna add 4 or 5 women over there.
No, not 4 or 5 women, but again, like we had our world heavyweight champion in a walking boot last night, and we don't know, how long she may be out for. Naomi obviously has been gone. Even on Raw, I think they could use maybe one new face, but SmackDown is the show that really needs the help. I mean, that entire division has just been decimated.
Well, it also doesn't help that you got Charlotte and Alexa stuck in a tag team. I'm assuming they're going to be going after the tag team titles, and they've been working more Raw than they have been SmackDown. But if they split them, and you got Charlotte, Alexa, Bianca coming back, Jordynne Grace, Julia, maybe you had a Blake Monroe, maybe you had a JC Jane,
well, Tiffany
Jade
is there
Cargill.
too. Blake on the same show.
Sure.
You do?
I think that'd be a great feud.
You don't think they're too similar? They almost look like they should be tag team partners.
Well, don't give them any more ideas.
That's why I'm worried. I mean, do you really want them on the same show?
I don't know. Listen, Blake Monroe on Raw, I have no problems with. But, I mean, outside of that, if you move all those other names to SmackDown, that's quite the division there. I mean, that's a hefty change.
And also people for Julia to work with. Not just the world champion, but also the U.S. champion.
Yeah. And we're not even including Lola Vice. Nikita Lyons just worked a dark match a couple of weeks ago. Sol Rook is getting called up. So, I mean, there are plans. We don't know where everybody's going to land, but the potential is certainly there. So, I think we even discussed this a couple of weeks ago. Blake Monroe is absolutely ready for the main roster. I don't even know what the fuck she's doing down there. Honestly, she's got a great entrance. She's got a great look. She's very good in the ring.
Yeah. I think, and people are saying you're muted. I think that when she came in, I think that Blake said it was her choice to start in NXT. So I think that was her decision. Now, does she need to be down there for 6 months? No, but at least it sounds like she's on her way up. She was ready from day one, dude. I mean, she didn't have to be down there, but some of them recognize, like, I want to start down there because things work a certain way in WWE, and they just want to make sure that they have, all the knowledge they need when it comes to how they produce their shows and everything, and that's fine. I think that's totally understandable, but now it's time to get her up, on Fridays, because that really is the show more than anything that could use her. But I do worry that her and Tiffany being on the same show, they may look at them and be like, oh, we can do something here with the two of them.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that at all. But her on the main roster, I have no problem with whatsoever. So that was that. Chelsea Green lost the United States Championship to Julia. Julia has a second reign as U.S. champion. And then the ambulance match, Aleister Black and Damian Priest, I thought was a fine main event. I liked that they actually weaved some of their promos and the history of the ambulance match, which we only have 6 of in WWE history, one of which was in the 3 Stages of Hell match with Ryback and John Cena. I like that they kind of weaved that throughout the show and kind of hyped it up. And I thought what they did was a very good main event. I thought someone was going to debut and help Aleister win, but apparently we got Rhea Ripley in the back of the ambulance because there was one spot there where I just figured someone was going to jump out because the ambulance door was closed. at one point after it being open, and I'm like, who's going to jump out of there? It ended up being Rhea Ripley helping Damian Priest win. But hopefully, Jason, this feud is finally over. They've been feuding for 6 months, and I don't even really understand why they were feuding, but they desperately need to move both guys on to something else. And I thought what they did there in the ambulance match was a very good TV main event.
Yeah, I mean, for that kind of match, it was like a brawl. You know, it was fine. I laughed when towards the end there, Priest went to go open the doors again, and they were locked.
Yes.
I'm like, how'd that happen? He went around to the side to open his side door. He's going to drag him all the way over there, and then someone's like, try again. And he opens it, and now they magically open. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. But yeah, like towards the end there, man, he gave him a razor's edge into the windshield. And yeah, I mean, they kind of went a little crazy with some of the spots there at the end. And I'm just happy it's over. I'm just like, you know, it's been going on for so long, and I really don't see how it benefited either one of them. I don't see how either one of them are coming out of this in like a better position than the one they were in before. So now we'll just wait and see. Of course, Priest loses the feud. I'm sorry, Priest wins, but Alistair loses the feud. So I don't know what that means for him going forward. I'm just happy that we can finally move on to something else for these two.
Whatever that may be, I don't know. They'll both be in the Royal Rumble, I'm assuming. Friday night was excellent. I thought what they did was very much put their best foot forward. They injected some life with the youth on NXT, coming over from NXT to SmackDown. I think we need to see a little bit more of that, and hopefully they are not done. We definitely need more roster depth for sure.
Yeah, so just to give you an update here. Yeah. There was a big match tonight on NXT between Obafemi and Leon Slater for the NXT Championship. So Oba won the match. Apparently it was a great match. So I'll have to check that out. It kind of bums me out. I was actually kind of hoping that maybe Leon would win just so we could get Leon and Javon at Stand and Deliver. That was kind of like my fantasy scenario.
Why you got to get my hopes up, man? I would love to
imagine, like, because Oba's going to get called up anyway. So what difference does it make? But like Leon Slater wins the NXT Championship. We know Javon's getting called up too. He's on Raw now, but still, like, you could build that match, Stand and Deliver, and we finally get a proper match with a real finish between them. And like WWE gets to have the actual finish. Like, I don't care. Just give me the match. But yeah, Oba wins. And then apparently he left the NXT Championship in the ring, and he left. So evidently he has vacated the NXT Championship.
Well, hopefully they give us a very good reason as to why one would do that with the most important piece of hardware on the brand.
He's going to the main roster.
Good.
So how they will now handle the NXT Championship situation will be interesting. Do they do a tournament? Do they have some other battle royal? Like, how are they going to resolve this issue now?
Tony D'Angelo is going to win the NXT World Championship.
God.
Tony D, bro. Anyway, I don't know. Listen, Obafemi's going to be tremendous on the main roster. Wherever he ends up, it's going to be a very lucky day for whichever brand he goes to. That's all I know. The Ruler is coming to the main roster, hopefully, soon. Raw. They could have certainly used him last night, for sure. Bro, this Stranger Things episode of Raw. First of all, I have not watched one single episode of the show.
You've never seen it.
I've been compelled to watch the show, and I can report to everybody that this Thursday I will be sitting down with the very first episode of Stranger Things.
Okay, so I thought you were a fan of the show. You just hadn't watched the new season yet. I've been watching it since the beginning, and it's right up my alley because I like it's kind of a mix of sci-fi, horror, but it's set in the 80s. So like it's like right up my alley. That's perfect. So I've only watched the first 3 episodes so far of the new season. So I definitely am eager to catch up with the remainder of the season, but I think you will enjoy the show. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, what I did not enjoy was they put all of this effort into the Stranger Things collaboration with the graphics and the music and the vines that were over the barricades. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm going, why can't they do this for their other like PLEs? Like, they had the custom stuff on the stage and everything, and I'm like, most of their PLEs outside of WrestleMania, they all look the same.
Bro, they didn't pay for a fucking thing last night. It was on Netflix budget.
well, I'm sure. Okay, but like TKO has more money than God. So like if they actually wanted to put some effort into this to make their premium live events feel a little more premium, I'm just saying, if they put in half the effort into those that they did into the Raw show last night, it would be awesome.
I agree. I agree. I thought the aesthetics of the show were on point to what their collaboration was with Stranger Things. I like the 80s vibe. I can't hate on that. Corey Graves was decked out in Stranger Things. What was he wearing? Hellfire Club T-shirt. He was
like in the school. There's a group that one of the characters runs called Hellfire Club.
So he was,
that's what that reference was.
He was dressed in Hellfire Club gear, leather jacket. They even came out of the van upside down. I did like the segments of the show being broken up into chapters, and that font was kind of coming at you in a very slow motion type of way. I did like that.
Yeah, that's how each episode begins.
I like that.
Each episode is like it was very, like, they put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into it. And that's maybe the best thing I could say about most of what we saw on that show last night. You know, if you think about it, they gave you everything they advertised. They advertised a World Heavyweight Championship match, and then we had 2 other championship matches. And I think two of the 3 championship matches largely delivered fine. Like the women's tag team title match to open the show was good. And the World Heavyweight Championship match at the end of the show ended up being good down the stretch. Like the last few minutes of the match is what really sold the match. I think the first half of the match was pretty boring. And then we had a women's Intercontinental Championship match that was no good. That was not good. But it was a newsworthy show in terms of, like, we had 2 title changes on the show, and they set up a major match for TV next week. So I can't sit here and tell you that nothing happened on the show. But what I can tell you is that, and this is the problem with a lot of the WWE programs, even if stuff happens on the show, there's this lifeless feeling to it where you just watch it. And it just, besides the fact that some of the shows are just a slog to sit through, but you just watch it and it doesn't really make you feel anything.
No.
You feel nothing watching so many of these shows. And that's a problem. You know, that's a real problem. Whether it's a problem with some of the characters on the shows or just the booking of some of the characters on the shows, you watch it and you feel empty when it's over. Or you feel like, man, if I missed this week, yeah, there were a couple title changes, but like, did I really miss anything significant? And that's not the way you want to be feeling. It's the first Raw of the new year, and they wanted to kick it off in a big way, and they put more effort into it. Like, how can we do the Stranger Things shit coming out of the commercial than they did the actual show itself? And it just ended up being a very mostly boring show. And that's like the cardinal sin. Like, you don't want your show to be boring. And that's what last night's show, for the most part, I felt like was.
The show was so boring that they left 14,000 in New York City fucking silent for 2.5 hours. And if you are doing that, I don't know how you can say that you're putting on a grade A product. I just find that to be so fucking weird. Last night's show, you know, I said last night on my end, they did the same thing going into their first ever Netflix show last year on January 6th. It was all hype. Triple H had fucking fan meetup at the new headquarters in Connecticut and Stamford, and they held this rally for the Netflix premiere, and they had everybody there cutting promos on everybody else, and they were setting the tone for the show. It was all hype. Everybody got excited about it, and Triple H said, this is now the new start for the road to WrestleMania. And we all believed him. And then we get to January 6th, and we see Dwayne come on out, glazing Cody Rhodes as his champion, and thank you for putting the company on your back, as if I just didn't see you come out at Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood, and give him the fucking throat slash. Like, all right, bro, enough of the fucking charade. And then we get Roman and Solo for the Ulafala, and we get Hulk Hogan being booed out of the building, and we get The Undertaker riding his motorcycle down to the ring with Rhea and Liv, which was fine, but it was as uneventful as anything because we knew who was going to win. And then Rollins and Punk in the main event, which was fine, but they went off the air very unceremonious. It was very anticlimactic. All in all, it was a very disappointing, overhyped corporate show. And they made last year's show look better in comparison after what they did last night. That's how boring this show was. So many commercials. I even mentioned the Rhea Ripley EO Kabuki Warriors match started at 8:08. And we go into 8:18, Jason, and there was 6 minutes of commercials here in the States. Now, I don't watch via a VPN. I'm watching the majority of the time on, the United States feed for Netflix. I get commercials, okay? I don't have a Fire Stick. I don't have access to VPN on my television. And I refuse to watch the show on my iPad. But, bro, 6 minutes of commercials in a 18-minute match or 17-minute match, whatever it is. I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Well, they started the match. I think they started the match, and I think 30 seconds in, they went to commercial.
Yes.
Now, I know that's basically the formula for these matches. Usually it's like 90 seconds, and then they go to commercial.
And then by 8:14, they go into another commercial.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, of course, it makes for a terrible... In the middle of a match, it makes for a terrible viewing experience, but that's the way it is every week. So it's like, that's really nothing new. It just was more noticeable last night, I think, because... we just were not terribly stimulated by what we were seeing on the show. So I think we tend to then notice these things a little more often. If it was like a really kick-ass show, it still would have been annoying. But I do feel like people would not have maybe noticed it as much. If they really kept you like going from break to break, like on the edge of your seat, waiting to see what was coming up next. The only reason people would have been on the edge of their seat watching the show last night is if they fell asleep and they were kind of sliding off their seat and maybe they kind of fell on the floor. That's about it. And I heard from a couple of people who were there. Obviously, it was in my backyard and I didn't go to the show. I went live when it was over, but I knew a couple of people who were there and then one person who listens to my show who was there. And I will say one of the people who went, for what they said they spent on the show, did not feel like he got his money's worth.
No.
Now, I said, that's your own fault for paying that. He goes, yeah, it's my fault. But still, like, you could just tell watching the show, there were a lot of people who were not terribly enthusiastic about what they were seeing. A lot of what was in the middle of the show, we had some like in-ring promo segments and stuff that were pretty brief. It was like there was nothing exciting. There was nothing really interesting about it. I was shocked that they didn't really hit you with any sort of, I mean, whether it was a debut or a surprise of some kind, and I'm not even talking about Jericho, like, there was really nothing. It was very straightforward.
Do you want to know what the problem is? After every match, there was nothing set up to get you excited about going into next week. Everything ended just flat. Yeah. After the tag team title match, it's like, all right, Rhea and Io are the tag team champions. Have a good night. And then Becky Lynch, new Intercontinental Champion, have a good night. There's no follow-up. There's no reason to get excited about going into next week. Jericho, I mean, people were blaming the show being bad because Jericho didn't show up. I'll get into that in a second. But I also want to get your opinion here because I did call this out. And I have nothing against the women's division because it is one of their strongest assets. And I love a lot of the ladies on that show. But 3 matches as compared to 1 men's match, Jason, did that take away from the show last night, in your opinion?
No. I mean, that honestly never even crossed my mind.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that maybe they kind of overloaded the show on women's matches.
What men's match would they have given you that would have changed your opinion of the show?
I don't know. I was hoping for an NXT call-up, really. I was hoping for something else. Like a match like Cardona had. Something to get
you
us
forgot,
excited.
Though. We got an NXT call-up, and it was actually during a commercial break.
It was.
During the show. We got the official announcement from Adam Pearce. He brought him out there on stage in front of the live crowd that Javon Evans is officially on Monday Night Raw, and they did it during a fucking commercial break.
Do you know that not even Corey Graves, Michael Cole, or anybody made a mention of it on commentary on air? So if you didn't know what was going on social media, you wouldn't even know that this kid got signed to an official contract. And I have to say, because I did call this out and people made me aware of it. I don't know if you picked up on it. The contract folder that the contract was housed in had the old Raw logo on it, the previous logo, not even the new logo. Did you see that?
I wasn't paying that close attention. No.
He took a picture with Triple H and he had the huge old Raw logo plastered on the fucking folder of the contract.
Dude, at the end, before they went to commercial, I stepped away for a minute, and so I missed it initially. So I actually had to go back because I had missed it, and they didn't make mention of it when they came back from commercial. So, yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the logo on the contract. I just went back to very quickly just kind of see what I missed. And it's like, okay, this guy's been on the show the last few weeks, but then when he actually signs the contract and they make it official, it's during commercials. So Yeah, that was very, very strange.
We got 10 minutes of Yeet, though, but we can't get Javon Evans for about 3 minutes.
Well, at least they kept that brief. You know why they did that segment, right?
Because they needed to inject some life into the Barclays Center?
Because they wanted Jey Uso to get his entrance.
So fucking
the only
lame.
reason that they had that segment on the show.
It's so fucking lame. An entrance for what? There's no fucking tag team for them to
live
work
crowd.
with. Yes, they spent how much money? How much did these people spend to sit there? Thousands?
There's no tag teams for them to work with, but I mean, you know the match that I did my predictions on the podcast this weekend, and there was a match that I proposed for them. I don't know if they'll do it or not. I mean, we may get into that after when we talk.
We
about
talked about we talked about some of them last week, didn't we?
We did, but like there's one in particular. I mean, there's talk and suggestions about like multiple teams and all that. You don't have to do that, dude. Like there's one very good match they could do if they wanted to, which is the Usos and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
And right now, as we talked about, Rey Fenix is not on this show, but it wouldn't take a lot of effort to shift them on over. And that's all you need to do. Like that's literally, you don't have to overthink this. If you want to build to a really, really big tag team match at WrestleMania, make it feel special and have the titles on the line, that's it. Penta and Rey Fenix against Jimmy and Jey Uso, brother and brother against brother and brother.
Well, look at Penta's allies since he's gotten to WWE. LA Knight, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, everybody but his own brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he secretly hates his brother. I don't know.
I don't know. It's very, very weird.
Actively injured himself to avoid teaming with him at the AAA show when they were supposed to be reunited. Maybe there's an agenda here. Maybe he's trying to keep his distance from Rey Fenix. I don't know.
I said the same thing last week. It's right there for the taking. Please do it. Please. You want to talk about the Usos being the greatest tag team in WWE? Let's put them in the ring with the greatest tag team of the generation. I think that works out well. Either that or the Hardys.
But that's April, so like you're right. In the meantime, like I don't know what's next for the Usos. Are they just going to come out and yeet every week, or do they have a really good team in mind for them in the meantime for them to be defending those titles against?
Don't worry, we'll be lining up the Creeds sooner or later. Correct. Or the War Raiders, one or the other.
Oh,
it can't be the Judgment Day because JD McDonough is out, so at least we don't have that to look forward to.
Well, the New Day. They'll just go They'll go to the New Day and the Usos again. Tale as old as time.
Jericho had absolutely no bearing on how bad this show was last night. I know a lot of people were hoping for Jericho to show up. I was one of those people. I thought it would have been a nice get, a nice surprise, a nice way to start the new year. I know Chris Jericho's 55 years old. He's not going to really bring a ton of intrigue or interest to the company, and everybody wants to go with the youth movement. I get it. But there was a report yesterday in regards to Jericho. And apparently, this is the reason why he didn't show up. Now, Fightful has not reported nor confirmed that Jericho will be on Raw or in WWE as of this week or heading into the Rumble. And at this point, we don't even know where he's going to end up because there's something that happened yesterday where people found out that Jericho is still on the AEW roster page. Now, yesterday, a number of people in AEW got memos about people that were, I guess their contracts had lapsed. They let them go. Mercedes Martinez, Matt Taven, and Alex Abrahantes, their deals came up, and the company got memos about them leaving the company. But no one in AEW got a memo regarding Chris Jericho. Now, AEW, says Sapp, is very particular about their roster page, as indicated by removing the 3 names that had deals expired yesterday. We asked AEW reps in an official capacity if Jericho was still with the company, and no one responded. We're told that AEW has a great relationship with Chris Jericho, but we're also very aware that their audience had grown tired of him, which led to his absence from AEW TV. When we spoke to WWE sources, they said that Jericho has not been brought up creatively as of yet, and that he was not factored into any plans for Raw before Monday night. The summary here, no one at AEW has been given any indication that Jericho is officially off the company, and sources in WWE have not been told as of yet that Jericho is there, coming in, or factored in. Now, no one. Yeah, go ahead.
Mid-range makes a great point. The timing is perfect to do this match at WrestleMania because now Alex Abrahantes can be reunited with the Lucha Bros in time for WrestleMania against the Usos.
Now we don't need them.
It's perfect. Come on, man. What do you have an agenda against Alex now? He's a nice young man. I see him sometimes. He pops up on QVC. He works for I think HP and helps sell some laptops on there. So I mean he's He's a nice young man.
Sure. No, I don't think we need Alex Abrahantes at WrestleMania with the Lucha Brothers. What did he come out dressed as? He came out dressed as like the Sith Lord, didn't he? One of those days, or one of them. I believe so. One of those Resident Evil dark priests and from Resident Evil 4. What did he come dressed as?
I don't fucking know. I'm taking your word for it. You pay more attention to how Alex was dressed than I did.
I don't know. It was one of those episodes where Penta came out as Penta Dark and he dressed the part. He didn't need to.
Yes. Okay. So he was really into it. He's super into it, man. Like he took his manager position very seriously.
First of all, nobody from AEW or WWE, maybe AEW, I don't know. Nobody from WWE is going to tell Sapp exactly what's going on in regards to Jericho. It's going to be very hush hush. AEW, they are very kind of lackadaisical with their roster page. Whoever they want to remove from their roster page, when they want to remove them, they'll remove them. And some people they leave up there, like Ricky Starks, they left up there for at least 2 or 3 days after he was let go. They didn't immediately pull him off. So it's when they want to do it. So I said last night, Jason, and I'm curious to see what your opinion here is on this. Last night, and even before last night, Adam Pearce put that video up to kind of tease Raw. He used the term breaking the walls down for the Stranger Things collaboration. I was like, okay, that's one Jericho innuendo there. That's one. And then we had Kyrie Sane do the walls of Jericho in the opening tag team match with Rhea and Io. Then we have Liv Morgan, who's being berated with Y2J chants, and she does a DX crotch chop. And I think Corey Graves mentioned something about Braun Breaker being under the Paul Heyman learning tree. So that's 4 Jericho references on Raw. Now, you could take that and run with it, or it could mean nothing. I don't know. But I would be a betting man to say that Jericho, he's got his people, and he's got people that work for him and around him. And
he's got his branches.
Yes. In so many words, he has his branches. I'm assuming he has many resources working for him to keep what he's doing next very hush-hush. And I would not be surprised. And some people, claim that I'm conspiracy theorist and this and that. Jericho's respect from AEW and Tony Khan is probably immense. They cannot thank him enough for what he's done there. He's done so much for that company. If Jericho went to Tony Khan and AEW and said, listen, I'm not coming back. This is a mutual parting of ways. I did all I could for you. Tony Khan understands that. If Jericho went to Tony Khan and said, Tony, leave me on the roster page. I'm going to make my next move. I want to keep everything a secret. Let's just do this. It's the least you could do. There's no doubt in my mind Tony Khan would have helped Jericho in that way. I honestly think that this is all a big ploy, and he's going to come in. I thought it was going to be last night, but now we're looking at the Rumble. I do think he's going to end up in the Rumble. But I do think that this is all just kind of one big Jericho ha-ha, and he's going to try and play the fans. I don't know what you think, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be in the Rumble. I mean, he'll be in the Rumble. First of all, I don't like how you no-sold my branches joke, by the way. So that's number one. I'm very upset. Number 2, are people really putting all this stock into the updating of the roster page?
Yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Like, let's not read too much into what is and is not updated, promptly. And that goes for WWE.com as well. I feel like they're even worse updating shit on their roster page. Let's not put too much stock into that. Now, you say that Jericho has so much respect from Tony Khan that Tony would be willing to keep him present on the roster page, even if his contract did expire.
Sure.
I don't think Tony is going to be looking to do any favors for, because indirectly it's a favor for WWE. So I don't know if that's the case or not. Maybe they just haven't gotten around to it yet. And who knows? I mean, for all we know, wouldn't it be something if like they tacked on time to his contract or something? I mean, did he miss any time for injuries, or was it just like various like Fozzy tours and stuff?
I don't remember Jericho being injured to a point where he missed time. I do think the majority of his time away was for Fozzy, yeah.
Okay. And so the last time we saw him was in April of last year. I don't think they would be tacking time on if they just creatively had nothing, for him on TV. So, yeah, I don't read too much into this shit, honestly. And I think even the mentions on Raw last night, clearly Adam Pearce, when he did that video to hype up the show, he knew what he was doing. Okay. That was a blatant tease. And so you can understand some people being upset, I guess, that he wasn't there last night. But I just feel like, are we really going to be upset and to the where it ruins your enjoyment of the show that Chris Jericho was not on Raw in 2026. There were a lot of reasons to just not like that show last night. And to me, like, that one never even like entered into my mind. Like, oh my God, Jericho should have been there. Like, no.
Well, listen, bro, there's still a lot of Jerichoholics out there.
That's fine. But like the last time we saw Jericho and what he's been doing over the last year and a half, believe me, I'm not sitting here waiting with, great anticipation for the return of Chris Jericho. I think it'll be a big deal when he shows up because, again, it's been 7 or 8 years since we've seen him on WWE television. And we'll see what, his gimmick is upon his return here. But, yeah, I'm not basing my enjoyment level of the show on whether or not Chris Jericho shows up at this stage of the game. So,
well, even if he did show up, it doesn't help the show at all. The show's still bad last night.
No, but that would have dominated the conversation. Sure. Like, if he would have showed up last night, that's all anybody would have been talking about. And it would have actually taken attention away from how boring the show was.
Well, I actually thought the show was boring for a reason, and then he was going to end up showing up because they didn't want to take away from his return last night.
They intentionally made the show boring to shock you when he showed up.
Yes.
I was more shocked, honestly, that LA Knight didn't show up during that main event, especially when the Vision guys ran out. I thought for sure he was showing up. I didn't expect fucking Dragon Lee to run out there. I was expecting LA Knight to show up. That surprised me more than Jericho not being there.
Well, we need a new cast of babyfaces to battle the Vision. Now it's Penta and Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. And the LWO.
Well, good for
the LWO, I don't know what happened to the branding with the LWO, but apparently it's gone.
Good for, aren't they doing stuff in AAA right now? But like, good for Dragon Lee, because when they lost the tag team titles last week, my thought was, okay, this is probably not good for him. And he's very talented, and hopefully they at least have a role for him on the show. And there he was last night running out during the main event. He may well be feuding with the Vision, which is the top heel group. So that's great, because Dragon Lee's a hell of a talent. I have no real issue with that. But yeah, the Jericho stuff, I'm sure he'll be at the Rumble. I think he's going to be at the Rumble, and I think he'll be wrestling LA Knight at WrestleMania. That's what I think he's going to be doing.
I'm sticking to that too. I know we talked about that, but Jericho didn't show up. How are they going to preserve a surprise for Jericho if he's going to be in the Rumble? Is it going to be a situation where they got to fly him maybe a week early to Saudi to preserve his surprise in the Rumble? Because I would assume that if he's going to be a surprise in the Rumble, that keeping that a secret, if he's got to make a 16, 17-hour trek to Saudi Arabia, it's not going to really be a surprise if people start seeing him at the airport.
Wait, you think he's flying commercial? I mean, dude, they're going to have him on a fucking private plane. They'll put him in some sort of disguise.
Yeah, wear his
like, there
mask?
are ways. Sure. Look, if he would have debuted on Raw last night, I was thinking like one way to really do it is have him dress up as like a Demogorgon or something from Stranger Things, and then he pulls the fucking mask off or something, There are ways to hide people if you want to hide them, and he's a high priority for them. Like when Punk came back at the Survivor Series, like there are certain people where if they want to hide you, they can hide you. So I'm not really worried about that. He's not going to be, taking a commercial flight to the show and just walking around for everyone to see. But I think most people at this point, because he wasn't there last night, are going to probably assume he's there anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just more curious, like, okay, what's the creative, for him? That's more of what I'm waiting to see.
LA Knight, Chris Jericho. I like the idea of that. I think the promo work could be good. And I know a lot of people were like, well, he's not going to, I don't think it makes sense for him to be in the Vision or feuding with Punk. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and also there's like one more message to Steven in the chat. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Wait. What happened? What happened? Please, someone in the chat.
That's just for Steven Vitkow. He can go fuck himself.
Oh, okay. Well, Steven, go fuck yourself. Okay.
Take a rusty nail, turn it sideways, and stick it up your ass.
There you go. When you anger,
how's that for insufferable?
When you anger this guy, then you got a problem. Okay. Moving on. We got Jericho out of the way. He has no bearing on how bad the show was last night. They put very little effort into the show. Asuka, Kairi, Rhea, Io. Kabuki Warriors lose the tag team championships. Very unceremonious, Jason. I feel like with the title change, it happened, and then they moved quickly on to whatever happens next. Rhea Ripley being a tag team champion going into WrestleMania. This is something that I discussed last night. I know she's obviously going to be a favorite to win the Royal Rumble. I think people had this vision of Stephanie and Rhea at WrestleMania. And after Stephanie last night with the walking boot, we don't really know what her status is on WWE TV. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky's tag team champions, I can see as a temporary thing. But if they do hold the belts on them, do you see Liv and Roxanne possibly challenging for the tag team championships, or are we thinking about this the completely wrong way?
It was a thought that I had. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, Rhea and Io just kind of stuck in tag team purgatory going into WrestleMania. Seems like a waste of Rhea and Io.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay if they want to have somebody else challenging for like the world title and not have Rhea, because we've seen it before. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe that they would just be relegated to just tag team stuff, unless they're going to have some sort of really big multi-team match, maybe even like a ladder match or something for the women's tag belts. And that's where Charlotte and Alexa and Rhea and Io and the Kabukis, they're all going to kind of be doing that. And they're going to have some other faces wrestling for the other championships, which I guess is a possibility because this real push in the women's tag division kind of came out of nowhere the last couple months. And I don't know. I mean, do you think they would have like some sort of multi-team match? Is that where this is headed?
I hope not. I don't really like, I don't understand the narrative about pushing the tag team division all of a sudden. It really happened around getting all these women together for War Games, and then it really picked up on that Raw after War Games. I don't really understand the whole heavy push for the women's tag team division all of a sudden now, after 6 or 7 years of just mediocrity. And I honestly feel like, and we discussed this, it takes away from Stephanie. And I'm feeling it even more so now, where Stephanie's left with Raquel and Nikki Bella. I don't understand it. And I feel like everybody that is part of a tag team here deserves a lot better. I don't know. I don't want to see Io and Rhea stuck in a tag team going into WrestleMania. I feel like they are absolutely, at least if you're going to come up with a top four, going to be the final four in the Women's Royal Rumble, along with maybe Bianca or someone else. I don't know. I genuinely don't understand that. I don't have an answer for why they're doing what they're doing. And it's not like they even set up challenges for them coming out of this match. It's like, where do they go now?
Well, they did. No, they did. They did. I mean, we had Charlotte and Alexa on Friday walk up to them and say, look, we got next after you.
Well, what about Nia and Lash Legend, who beat the champions?
They beat the, yeah. Well, how does that make the Kabuki Warriors look, by the way?
Like fucking losers.
Yeah. I mean, they lost clean to Nia and Lash. And then from there, they go in there and they lose to Rhea and Io. So it's like, that doesn't really make them look too strong. So we know that Alexa and Charlotte are going to be wrestling Rhea and Io. Now it's just a matter of when do they do it. And yeah, what is the idea here? I mean, I was hoping we would get a singles match at some point between Asuka and Io. So I'm going to be upset if we don't get that at some point, but I don't get the sense that that's where this is headed.
Yeah, I don't know. It may be temporary. I just think Rhea and Io are so above the women's tag team championships. So that was that. We'll see what happens next. Asuka and Kairi, I don't know where they go. It was just a clean loss, and they have kind of been spiraling downwards ever since. So we don't know if Asuka's going to blame Kairi for the loss. We don't know if there's going to be a split of the Kabuki Warriors. Again, we don't know. So we'll figure it out. Gunther and AJ Styles. This was something that we've been being teased with over the last couple of weeks. And AJ is coming to the defense of the disrespect for John Cena. And he finally met Gunther face-to-face last night. I was one of the people, Jason, that was very hopeful, as we discussed. And I thought we had a very good discussion with the whole John Cena, how the match ended on December 13th. And I was very hopeful that WWE would take Gunther and really run with this as a really top-notch villain. They've had him come out in these less than enthusiastic crowds like a fucking robot, uttering the same thing. John Cena tapped out like a little bitch for the last 3 weeks. And it's honestly getting to a point where I genuinely feel like Triple H is not making a joke of Gunther or a joke of the situation. He's absolutely killing the momentum of Gunther coming out of the match with John Cena. He's wasting all this genuine heat that could be by having him go out there and be a quote unquote catchphrase merchant. And I don't like it. And apparently we finally have this AJ Gunther match happening next week in Germany. And we'll get to that in a second. But what do you make of the weakening heat that Gunther's getting on television?
I mean, I'm still waiting for this molten heat that everybody said he was going to have by making him tap out at Saturday night's main event. I mean, look, it just goes to the kind of the logic behind why everybody is so angry at him. And I can understand, okay, he's kind of being very cavalier about it and being disrespectful. Okay, fine. But like, I don't know. I mean, the way they've been treating this guy is like public enemy number one for beating somebody in a match that they had already told us in advance was going to be their last match. It's kind of like flawed logic. And he had a lot of heat coming out that first night, but it's been kind of diminishing ever since. And it's true. It's almost like they should start making Gunther pull string dolls. So you just pull the string in the back and it just says tapped out like a little bitch and just repeats that over and over again.
Again, don't give them ideas. That'll be the next thing on Shop.
Oh, that'll be on Shop real quick. They have T-shirts to sell. I think that's why they're doing it. They're really pushing. He took the shirt out last night. He was holding it up. They want to sell T-shirts.
Nobody's buying that shirt, bro. Nobody.
Well, I don't know who would walk around in it unless you were at a wrestling event. I don't know who would walk around in it, but yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't really fit who Gunther is. It's just weird. You know what I mean? It feels forced. And so I'm glad we're getting him and AJ though, because that's going to be great. And AJ smacked the shit out of him last night when he came out to the ring, and then Gunther got real serious real quick. And then he ran right to Adam Pearce to complain about it and, ask for a match. So the surprise is that they're doing the first match between them next week. Now they're going to be in Dusseldorf. They're going to be in Germany next week. Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf. Okay.
They're going to be in Germany.
What do you think they do in Dusseldorf? Anything?
I would imagine. I mean, they probably drink some good beer.
Das Boot?
Right. Sure. And they got some fine German engineering over there. I know that. Specifically in Dusseldorf. I don't know what they do.
I wonder if we have any listeners from Dusseldorf. No? Maybe?
You might. I've got some listeners in Germany. I don't know if they're in Dusseldorf.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so again, so that stuff it's to the point now where it feels very forced. And so AJ taking a stand, this could not happen at a better time. I can't even hate on the fact that they're doing the first match like on a random Raw. First of all, they're in Germany. I think with that crowd, it's probably going to make it really fun.
Yeah.
But just anything but what they've been doing with him. Like, please, yes, put him in the ring with somebody that's not Otis or R-Truth, right? We're getting a real fucking match with him next week. The first one that we've seen since he beat Cena. It's going to be a month. So I'm looking forward to the match. I see it as the first in a series of maybe 3. Because we still have a ways to go until we get to WrestleMania. I'm still thinking that's the WrestleMania match. We don't know how long AJ, how deep he's going into the year. If we assume that maybe Mania is going to be his last match, this is the first. I could see a second. I could see AJ losing all of these matches, by the way, because I would not be beating Gunther for a while. But I think the key here is that unless AJ is sticking around through most of the year, you can't do what you did with John Cena. You cannot tell people in advance, this is going to be AJ Styles' last match. And I could see them doing it because they're going to want to sell tickets and all that. But like story-wise, I think there's a story to be told here where AJ cannot beat this man. And it goes to maybe a third match and AJ is willing to put his career on the line. Maybe they're both willing to put their career on the line. It's like almost like a loser leaves WWE match. And that way you build some drama into the near falls and all that. But then if AJ loses, that puts real heat on Gunther because you didn't tell us in advance, right, that this is going to be his last match. But if Gunther beats him and because Gunther beat him, that's his last match, that's real heat.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's the way to go. Check your timer there. We mentioned this last week. I like that a lot. And I know he's mentioned it once on television that he's going to call it quits next year. I would not mention it again. I totally agree on that. I did mention last week when we discussed this, take a page out of the Undertaker-Shawn Michaels feud, where he didn't beat Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. which I thought he should have. And then going to 26, he put his career on the line. I could beat you. I'm going to end the streak. I'm going to put my career on the line if I can't.
Had Shawn Michaels end the streak?
Dude, after that match, I would have totally ended it, yeah.
No. That would have been terrible.
Ending the streak with that match would have been terrible?
Having Shawn Michaels end the streak? I mean, it was no better having Brock do it, but like having Shawn Michaels end the streak?
Sure.
Why?
I just...
The finish of the match was perfect, dude. Why did Shawn have to win? Do you not remember that dramatic crawl after the super kick, the crawl over to cover him, and then the last second kick out, and how crazy everybody went in the crowd?
I know. Listen, I've always had a problem with Brock ending it. I understand why they did it, but if you're going to go with somebody, I mean, Shawn Michaels probably would have deserved it better. No?
Nah. He didn't need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of my favorite matches ever. We go back and take a page out of that book. And I know they had many years to play out that with both of their careers spanning fucking decades. And you're not going to have a lot of careers kind of emulate that way, especially with Gunther and Styles. But if they take a page out of that book and kind of follow the same playbook, I think that would work out well here. The only difference is they're going to have 4 months to tell it if AJ is retiring at WrestleMania. I don't really trust them to tell that type of story over 4 months where we had Undertaker and Shawn Michaels play it out, especially with the WrestleMania aspect over 2 years plus, and all the other kind of instances that kind of led to them going into that WrestleMania feud. I don't know. I don't trust them with this. I think they're going to drop the ball big time.
Well, I mean, you have reason to be pessimistic after what we saw with Cena last year and the way they handled some of that. But I think that, it all comes down to when AJ is done. For all we know, maybe he'll stick around for SummerSlam, or I don't know. And maybe it's better this way. Maybe it's better that he doesn't tell people how long he's going to be around for it, for the reasons I just mentioned. That way, you won't see it coming. You know what I mean? And maybe people will be upset about that because, oh my God, I thought he had more time and now he's done. Like, but that's kind of the point. Like, yeah, they'll be upset about it. But I think it'll make for a more dramatic match. And then if you really want to put heat on Gunther, that's the way to do it. Not what you did with Cena, but you do it that way.
Yeah, to go back to what you said as well about him and this whole I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch, and him laughing and kind of snarky attitude that he has. You know, that, like you said, it's not Gunther. I would have absolutely had him leave R-Truth fucking a beat up mess last week. He needs to be violent. And when Gunther is serious and violent, that's when Gunther is at his best. I get why they're trying to play off the John Cena tapped out thing and him kind of throwing it back in the fans' face, but I feel like it's actually having an opposite effect here. And I think fans are at the point of kind of being completely done with it, and they need to course correct very, very quickly. Hopefully AJ is that guy, because AJ is a fan favorite, and the match should be tremendous. So I'm not buying it yet, but after next week, like you said, I think that Germany crowd's going to really bring the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Becky Lynch won the Intercontinental title. I've been saying this for weeks. Maxine wasn't long for this world as IC champion. I also can't see WWE taking Maxine Dupree into WrestleMania season as the Intercontinental champion, and they're going to put the belt back on one of their biggest, if not their biggest, women's star outside Rhea Ripley here in Becky Lynch. I'm not surprised by this. The only thing is, Jason, I was actually quite disappointed because that first match with Maxine when she won by countout, how great that was and how everybody was really rallying behind her. You could see Maxine getting better, and you can see the promo work kind of coming along. She felt a little bit more comfortable in recent weeks on the microphone while going face-to-face with Becky Lynch. But at the end of the day, every match that they had, I felt like we've gotten less and less and less, and the match quality has gotten worse and worse and worse, with last night being the worst of all of their matches. And I think Maxine and Becky, I think we're done with that. I don't know where Becky goes from here with the Intercontinental Championship, because everybody's fucking tied up in the tag team division. But I think this was the right decision yesterday.
It was, and I think where we go is Becky and AJ Lee. I think that's where we go.
Even with her being off television?
Well, she's off television now, but she won't be off television for very long. I mean, she'll be back, I'm sure, probably in the Rumble, and I'm sure she'll be back in time to do something at WrestleMania. We never did get a singles match between them.
We didn't.
Becky and AJ for the Intercontinental title.
Sounds like a WrestleMania match to me. We'll see what happens there. I wonder if they're going to put the belt on another major part-timer here in AJ Lee. She's basically the female Roman.
Well, I mean, I never really expected her to be wrestling weekly on the shows.
No.
So, but she's still very popular. I don't know that she's necessarily winning that match. Just because they do the match doesn't mean AJ Lee has to win the title. I think Becky could win, but it's a big match for them to do. And I think that WrestleMania would be the place to do it. So, yeah, I mean, AJ in the Saudi Rumble.
If Punk did it, then she's going to do it.
Yeah, if Punk's going to be there, I don't see any reason why AJ wouldn't be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Stephanie Vaquera came out in a walking boot last night. She was upright and walking on her own. It wasn't like she was
a wheel down to the ring.
No,
she wasn't limping like Ibushi at the Tokyo Dome the other day.
No. The last time we had a walking boot incident was when Jacob Fatu crashed through a table, and everybody was wondering how injured he was. And he had a walking boot on, and people seen him at a convenience store after the show was over with a walking boot. So that was nothing major. Hopefully this is nothing major. They did seemingly write her off television yesterday, though, Jason. So I don't know how long she's going to be out, but if they wanted to strip her of the championship, I'm assuming yesterday would have been the perfect opportunity to do that, but they didn't. So I'm assuming that they think it's not serious, and we'll see Stephanie back hopefully soon.
Yeah, I didn't get the sense it was anything serious, or else they wouldn't have had her taking bumps like a Tahana bomb. She wouldn't have been doing that. So I guess it just comes down to, is she back in time for the Rumble, or is she back in time for the Chamber? Depends how serious it is.
Yeah, I'd probably say the Chamber.
Because, again, Chamber, it's far away, but, is it far enough away that they would strip her of the championship?
No,
considering how little she even shows up or wrestles on these shows, I think that's fine. They can keep, and we certainly don't need any interim champions on this show. We know some people like doing the interim titles.
No, and we also don't need a strip of the title, and then all of a sudden it ends up on Nikki Bella. We don't need to see that either.
Oh, she's licking her chops. This is her chance right now. This is great. TMZ had a story today, but I can't even believe this is news. Did you see the Nikki Bella TMZ story?
With her dating that Philadelphia Eagle 21-year-old?
This was headline news that they are officially casually dating.
Great.
So they're not in a relationship, but Nikki Bella is casually dating, what's his name?
I have no idea.
He's an NFL guy. His name escapes me.
Chat, what's his name? You guys know better than we do.
Yeah, what is it? What is his name? Cameron? Is it Cameron something? Coop? Anyway, this was big news on TMZ today.
How many weirdos are going to go into depression because Nikki Bella's off the market now?
She's robbing the cradle.
Oh my God!
There we go. Cooper DeJean. That's his name.
There you go. Lucky man that Cooper DeJean is, huh? He's dating Nikki Bella. Good for him. Good for the happy couple.
Casually.
Casually. Liv Morgan. Speaking of the ladies and a possible world championship contender for Stephanie Vaquera, which was rumored, she came back first in-ring match since injured against Lyra Valkyria. Very uneventful here. Liv Morgan won in about 9 minutes. There was a commercial break in between, so we got maybe 5 minutes of match. Apparently, Jason, there is a report from WrestleVotes saying that there's an internal push to showcase Liv Morgan as the... What happened now? Well, what is the chat? Cooper DeJean giving Nikki that Dijon sauce at Solomonster at JD Sidra. Yes.
Did I pronounce it wrong? Is it Cooper DeJean or DeJean? I thought it was DeJean.
Dijon mustard. It doesn't.
That's how I say it. Yeah.
That's all right.
It's remember those Grey Poupon commercials?
Yes, I do.
Excuse me, sir.
Can I have some Grey Poupon?
You ever drive the Dark Horse down the street and roll down the window and ask the guy next to you if he had any Grey Poupon?
No. There's absolutely no food or mention of food anywhere near my car, bro. Sorry. There is an internal push to showcase Liv Morgan as the centerpiece of the WWE Women's Division going into WrestleMania. WrestleVotes reports that there have been talks that WWE wants her featured prominently in a singles capacity. Now, that could be against Stephanie Vaquera. Again, we don't really know. All I know is that she's very chummy with Roxanne Perez. So I don't know where they're going. I thought that one of them was going to go after one title, the other one was going to go after the other. Now I get a sense that they may be going after the tag team championships, and Raquel Rodriguez is going after the women's championship. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe you can make sense of it. I have no idea.
No, good. Look, we're heading into WrestleMania season. It's not a bad thing to have some unpredictability here, as long as they have a plan, and that plan ends up being a good plan. Because we don't know. That's the whole point. There's any number of directions they could go here. Liv Morgan could win the Royal Rumble and challenge for the title, right? We don't know how this tag team situation is going to shake out, as far as the titles go. But I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing.
All right. I'll stick with that. I like that. Liv Morgan, I mean, she is in that fucking Vegas vignette that they keep showing every week. So she's the one sitting at the table eating the olives off the martini glass. So I'm sure she's going to have quite the role at WrestleMania regardless. In the main event, we got CM Punk. The first time that I actually felt Monday Night Raw was Raw, we got a almost 30-minute main event here with CM Punk and Braun Breaker. And I thought this was a good main event. And I was definitely one of the people at the forefront saying that Braun Breaker should win the World Heavyweight Championship. This is going back to Saturday night's main event when we never got that match with Breaker and Punk and ended up being Punk and Uso. We did come to the conclusion here on TNT that it realistically should have been LA Knight and not CM Punk. But Punk is the champion. He's wrestling the young, upcoming Braun Breaker. And I agree with Jason. The match was a little slow and kind of brooding in the beginning, not really exciting. And then the last 5 or 6 minutes was really when the crowd finally woke up from their deep slumber in Barclays.
Oh, I would say the crowd woke up from their slumber when Braun Breaker nearly brained himself.
Yes.
In the middle of the ring. Holy shit. Like, he's very lucky. Like, he came down directly on top of his head.
Oh, but Jason, where's the outrage from William Regal?
Yeah. How did you know they sound that way?
Just an assumption, man. I don't know.
Very accurate. Yes. So he thankfully was okay. I guess they checked him out for a possible concussion and they cleared him, so he seems to be okay. And then you had CM Punk later in the match who took a header out of the ring and went splat on the ground outside. So that was also kind of scary. So there were a couple moments like that here in this match, but it was in the last few minutes that things really picked up and the fans got animated. But the thing is, dude, Punk was outside the ring by the announce desk. And this is after the Vision had run out. They had Bronson Reed and Austin Theory and Logan Paul. And I'm thinking, what the hell are they doing? They're going to cost him the championship. That's kind of dumb because they're jumping up onto the ring apron. And he fights him off, and then that's where we had Penta and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and they came out and they fought off the Vision, right? So now you think it's going to be a fair fight or someone's going to show up. And Punk ends up outside the ring by the announce desk, and Breaker cleared a long distance. And we've seen Logan Paul do that before, but usually he's doing a splash right through the announce desk. I don't know what Braun did here. It was like a diving clothesline or elbow.
It was like a reverse bulldog almost.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And he cleared the distance and he put Punk through the table. It was like this big spectacular bump. And then he didn't they weren't laying there for an extended period of time. He got up, he put Punk in the ring, and then he went to go spear him and Punk knees him and then hits a GTS and beats him. Afterwards, how do you do a spot like that? And then 15 seconds later, the guy's up and there's no result from that. And he just wins. That's what got me.
Yeah, it was. It was a little silly. Yeah,
it was kind of crazy because anyway. But outside of that, the match itself, it ended up being a good match. Punk winning clean was a bit of a surprise, but I said this in my review. I said it's not as damaging to Braun Breaker as some people I think are going to be apt to make it out to be.
Oh yeah, I already see people complain.
Yeah. Oh, Braun Breaker's buried.
What are you talking about? Buried?
Yeah, he lost to the 48-year-old guy who was huffing and puffing at the end of the match. I saw a lot of the same stuff. And while it may be ridiculous, it's not going to be damaging to him so long as they have a way to really make sure that he bounces back from this. Meaning he can't show up on Raw next week and not be on the warpath. There has to be some sort of fallout from this. And potentially the fallout could also lead to him winning the Royal Rumble. I do think his chances of winning the Rumble went way up last night. Because if he wins the Rumble, this is all forgotten about, right? And then he punches his ticket to WrestleMania, and he's going to win that title at WrestleMania. So it's very possible that that's how this is going to play out. As far as what Punk would be doing at the Rumble, I was expecting LA Knight to return last night. I'm still expecting him to be back on television soon. I would not at all be surprised if the match at the Rumble is Punk and LA Knight for the World Championship. I still feel like we didn't get that match at Saturday night's main event, which was a possibility, but I'm kind of thinking that may be the world title match at the Rumble itself.
You think LA Knight's going to finally be the world champion?
No, but he may get that match.
Imagine Jericho versus LA Knight at WrestleMania for the world title.
Yeah, I'd rather not imagine that, actually. Let's not do that.
Sorry.
Let's not do that. But then the Vision members are in the Rumble itself. And because right now, if I had it narrowed down to some favorites for the men's Rumble, Roman and Breaker really, probably the top two. Honestly, some people might have Randy Orton in that.
Yeah.
I don't see Orton doing it. I think there's a better chance of Roman than Orton. And frankly, I don't need either one of them to win it. I'd rather someone like Breaker, who's never won it before.
Oh, we'll probably get Cody and Randy at the Rumble anyway in the title match.
If we do, then Randy wouldn't be in the Rumble match. But I'm sure if he's not going to be challenging Cody, Randy's going to be one of the favorites in that match. I don't really hear anybody talking about Sami Zayn as a favorite the way that and I think you and I were doing that a few months ago. It doesn't feel that way now.
No, Sammy's out of my discussion. I mean, I'm going to keep him off to the side. He's not even like a dark horse favorite. He's there in discussion, but I don't see him winning this year's Rumble. No.
Yeah, because only now has he gotten back to this story of I will be a world heavyweight champ, because they got away from it for months. So now they're starting to tell that story again, but I don't get the impression he's going to win the Rumble or he's anyone's favorite. So for Breaker, the key is in the follow-up. He lost clean to Punk in what ended up being a really competitive match, but he still lost. Despite his friends trying to help him, he still lost. There's got to be some sort of consequences for this. And by consequences, I mean just, again, him coming out and wanting to just rip people apart. And maybe, and here's the other thing that surprised me. We didn't get a single person last night. Last year it was Cena, but we didn't get a single person last night declare for the Royal Rumble.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You would think we would have had someone be the first, and no one did. If it's me, Braun Breaker opens the show next week. Again, all pissed off, and he's the first person to declare, I'm in the Royal Rumble. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I like that. I don't know what Braun Breaker would do as far as kind of cause chaos on Raw. You got Ray, you got Penta, you got Dragon Lee. You just can't put them in a 6-man tag and then be like, oh, man, we're going to wrestle you guys and we're going to beat you, and that's going to be enough to fulfill my appetite after losing to CM Punk last week. Something drastic needs to be done here, I think.
He could fucking murder Dragon Lee next week. Not even in a match. He fucking murders him, and then Adam Pearce says, get him out of here or something. He's uncontrollable. Get him out of here. But something like that. He can't just show up and just kind of fall in line with the rest of the members of the Vision like it's just another Monday night. You know what I mean? That's why I think him being the first one to declare for the Royal Rumble, I think is important.
It's like a scene out of The Walking Dead, man. I would have Braun Breaker take all their masks and just kind of celebrate with unmasking all of them. Like you won't see them, but to confiscate their masks, like that episode of The Walking Dead with the Whisperers, where they killed all those fucking village people and just they decapitated them, and in the fields
they put their heads on the pike.
Yeah, that's exactly what they should do. But
Rey Mysterio's head on one, Dragon Lee's head on one.
Lucha style for Braun Breaker, yeah. Sure,
yeah. That's not PG, but
no. But you guys get my point, though. It should be Braun Breaker-esque for sure. I didn't really find myself upset that Braun Breaker lost. I was pretty content with it. Like I said earlier in the show, if you held me hostage and I had to choose one or the other, Breaker or McIntyre, I'd probably go McIntyre with winning the championship. Again, I'm not really, after last night, I don't know how you felt. The match was good. They did go 26 minutes. What else could they do on a bigger stage? Is it going to be any better on a bigger stage? Did we kind of exhaust everything we have for these two guys in this one match? I mean, what are you looking forward to another match if we get there between these two?
I I don't know about looking forward to it, like I'm excited for it, but don't forget Seth Rollins is the wild card here too. So, if he's back in time to be on the Mania card, instead of holding somebody out for him, not knowing if he'll be medically cleared, they could always add him to this and turn it into a triple threat match because he never technically lost the world title.
Yeah.
So he would have an argument for saying, hey, look, I don't have to earn anything. I should be a part of this match. And we know the history with him and Punk. Yeah. And then Braun's the one who kicked him out of the division. So you'd have two guys in the ring that, he doesn't know who he hates more. So who's to say it doesn't turn into a triple threat match?
That's a possibility, for sure. But Monday Night Raw last night, very uneventful. No, I wouldn't say uneventful. It was very boring. It was very lacking a follow-up, for sure. They didn't get you really excited outside the Gunther AJ Styles match, which I think we're excited for because it's the first time ever, and they're both tremendous at what they do, and it's in Germany, so it should be a better New York City crowd, better than a New York City crowd. But they basically willed this show into existence based off some storylines through the taped holiday episodes, built hype around it, put Stranger Things collaboration behind it, and then expected us to really go bonkers for it and get excited for it yesterday, and they fucking dropped the ball. It was very, very... I don't even know the right word. It's corporate is a good word to use. It was just lacking excitement.
That's the whole product, though. Now,
the
whole product is corporate.
It's so fucking bad.
It's just, I mean, it's actually very jarring when you, like, if you're on the Vault, and I'm not even saying stuff from 30 years ago, like even watching WWE stuff from like when Cena was on top and stuff, like it's jarring how much more just, I don't know, just corporate the whole product feels. Everything is just wrapped in it,
Very depressing. So hopefully, like last year, that first show was bad and so unexciting, and we all said, "What the fuck?" And then the shows that followed were so much better than the debut episode. So I'm hoping for more of the same here for this year. But WWE failed to put their best foot forward. Friday they did. Monday they absolutely did not. A couple of other minor news and notes here. Update on Chad Gable. He's nearing a return. WrestleVotes says that he is still planning to be in Saudi Arabia for the Royal Rumble. He is looking absolutely world championship-esque, Jason. Did you see Chad Gable recently?
He's been eating his Wheaties, I saw. My God.
He don't even look like the same fucking guy.
These guys, man, I got to know what kind of diet they're on. Man, you got Randy Orton when he came back from his back injury, right? How old is he? He's mid-40s, right?
Yeah.
And he was out for 18 months. He came back. He was yoked when he came back. Remember when AJ Styles came back from the foot was it the foot injury? The broken ankle. He came back and he was as ripped as I've ever seen him in my life. Mm-hmm. And he's also pretty up there. And Gable's in that same range, and he's as ripped as I've ever seen him. So these guys, I don't know, the older they get, they're in the best shape of their lives.
I mean, he walks into WWE on day one coming back from that injury, and Triple H sees him. I'm hoping that championship gold is in his future. I mean,
I forget Triple H. If Vince was still there, Vince would look at him and go, "This is not Shorty G. Who is this guy?
This is who I asked for, pal.
This is going to be our next world champion, pal."
Oh man, so I'm looking forward to him getting back, seeing what they do with Americano and the Royal Rumble potentially. Netflix became the official home of the WWE library in the United States. This was sent out to all of media today. Netflix and WWE Today announced an expansion to their long-term partnership that will see all of their WWE library in the United States here. Netflix is the new home. So beginning immediately, Netflix is the new home in the United States for WWE's library of premium live events prior to September 25, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the Rumble, documentaries, and original programming. This follows the January 25 launch of WWE on Netflix. And then they hyped up that they've been in the top 10 globally on Netflix. And apparently this all is in conjunction with season 2 of Unreal, which season 2 debuts on January 20th. I haven't watched a single thing, Jason, on Netflix as far as WWE outside of the weekly Raw because we work it every Monday. How do you feel about this move? I know you love your Vault. I love the Vault. How do you feel about this move for Netflix getting all the PLEs?
I mean, I'm glad they found a place for them right now. I'm just not happy about how fragmented everything is. And the fact that Netflix is getting the PLEs, as far as if they get any of like the old weekly content, I think that's going to be very bad. And I just base that on what they've done with the Raw Vault. The Raw Vault is an absolute disaster. Like if you go into they've had the Raw Vault up for a year. It is, to say it's incomplete is like an understatement.
Like what is on there that it's a disaster?
So it's supposed to be all the past episodes of Monday Night Raw, and they have them by year. And if you go and look, like the early years, for example, right, 93, 94, like 1994, I think has like 4 episodes up for the entire year. Like I'm not even joking. And like you go to some of the other, like if you want to watch Attitude Era stuff, right? Again, handful of episodes are uploaded. And then I think between 2001 and maybe, I don't have it in front of me, but there might be like a 10 or 15 year stretch. All those years are missing. And then it picks up with like 2020 or so. It's like, dude, it's awful.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fucking bad.
It's awful. They've had a year to update it. They will not update it because it is not a priority for them. If they were to get any other shows like that, I mean, SmackDown right now is still on Peacock as far as the SmackDown archives, and I think those are complete. But yeah, Netflix, when it comes to that stuff, Netflix is just fucking garbage. So if they get anything else, I think that's going to be a terrible thing. The pay-per-views I'm a little concerned about just because, I mean, as long as they're there, I guess it doesn't matter. But like the Vault has been uploading full pay-per-views also. So I don't know if that means they're going to pull those, like what they've already uploaded, if they're just going to pull them or not. As long as we have a place to get them, I guess it doesn't matter. But we're still waiting on like, what does this mean for like the WCW content, the ECW content? And there's still no clarity on that. I get the sense that nobody wanted it. So Netflix is going to pick up the PLEs, and all the other shit is probably just going to be slow rolled to YouTube over time. And it's not going to be like, oh, I want to go find this, and it's already there. It's just going to be this slow sort of rollout over a period of months and years on YouTube.
So if you want to go watch ECW Heatwave 1997, you're going to have to wait until WWE deems it ready for YouTube. So
that's it. And the Vault is great. I love the Vault. But the main reason I love the Vault more than anything is when they upload stuff that like I've never seen before, like truly like never before seen stuff. That's been great. I don't know if you saw, there was a video last week they uploaded a Golden Era stuff. Did you see that?
I did see it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it was like, I love that stuff. Imagine what they have in the Vault that like they won't show us, that they can't show us. Like all the outtakes and bloopers and stuff like off camera. I can only imagine what they have in their archives. That to me is what makes the Vault special. But they upload tons of full shows. It's great. It's just I just wish there was that one central place, you know, that you could, like the network used to be, where you can just access all of this stuff. It's funny, on Netflix they got WrestlePalooza up, which surprised me because it's ESPN and it's, you know, and in the press release they put out today, they made it a point to say from like previous to September, you can get the PLEs. And then I went, and now WrestlePalooza is not there anymore. So they must have uploaded it accidentally. So yeah, from prior to September of 2025, supposedly it's all the PLEs. I haven't checked to see if they're all up there yet. But yeah, I assume it's just WWE and not the WCW.
So if you want everything pre-September's 25, Netflix, and then Netflix, and then ESPN's going to have them for the next 5 years. I'm assuming, right? All the current PLEs from this point.
They didn't announce. They just said supposedly the Hollywood Reporter said it's set to be a multi-year thing. It's like an expansion of their current deal, and it's a multi-year thing, but they didn't say for how many years.
It's WWE. They butchered their own catalog and have sold it off in pieces to the highest bidders. It's crazy.
It's just crazy. Like on Peacock, NXT is on Peacock until March, and like the live NXT PLEs, they're on there until March.
I'm assuming all the ones that are previously recorded will end up on Netflix, and then the same thing with the PLEs. I think they'll end up on ESPN.
Possible, but like right now, that's still on Peacock. Saturday Night's Main Event is airing live on Peacock. So if you want to watch that stuff in the States live, you need Peacock for that. Then you have this on Netflix, right? ESPN has some stuff. And then isn't there another one? The current NXT shows, after they're done airing, is that in the CW app?
That's on the CW app, because that's how I digest that content. Yes.
Okay. All right. So then there's that. And then there's the Vault.
And then you need Tubi if you want to watch Evolve.
Right. Well, I don't give a shit about that,
Me
so
neither.
that's fine for me. But yes, if you want to watch that, you need Tubi, which is free at least. Man, that's a lot to remember.
It is.
And if you want AEW stuff, you got HBO Max, right? They have all the pay-per-views up there.
Yep.
Man, getting expensive to be a wrestling fan.
Yep. And if you guys want to watch TNA, AMC, so
But if you want to watch TNT, it doesn't cost you a thing.
free.
Right here on YouTube.
Free, yes. Who will not be free and will be wrestling for mega money is supposedly Mr. Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, reportedly. This caused some controversy on social media this past weekend. And I don't know why, but, people need to feel relevant in today's IWC. And I very much want to distance myself away from a lot of what's going on social media. But my guy, Andrew Baydala, I wouldn't even say reported. He put out an opinion. It was not him reporting anything. So I don't know why this got picked up as a report. Andrew Baydala put out Friday that any rumors surrounding The Rock's involvement in WrestleMania are not for the upcoming one in Las Vegas, and that what's under discussion right now is for Rock potentially at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. Now, Drew wrote, before these rumors get wild again, The Rock is not wrestling at this year's WrestleMania, which I think everybody pretty much is kind of settled on.
Well, I mean, The Rock, didn't he just wrap up, or maybe he's still filming it, I don't know, some movie role where he lost all that weight.
Yes.
So he looks like he's
the
like
Lizard Man or something like that.
Chicken Man.
Chicken Man.
Yeah, he looks like he's 175 pounds. He's like the Pebble now. He's not wrestling anytime soon.
Chicken Man. I guess he's not
The
eating all that
Chicken Man.
chicken, huh?
The Chicken Man, yes.
So he's not wrestling at this year's Mania. The big offer under discussion is for next year's Mania, 43 in Saudi Arabia, and there appears to be hesitation about proceeding, given The Rock knows it would most likely be his last match. Any reported hesitation by Rock is not about the show's location, but rather its timing. Drew also said that if The Rock were to commit to wrestling at WrestleMania 43, it could be his last wrestling match ever. There have been no reports to suggest that he'll wrestle after WrestleMania 42 and before WrestleMania 43. Now, Meltzer of The Observer reported in September that the final price for Saudi Arabia paying for all of WrestleMania 43 events for the week could depend on whether The Rock commits to main eventing the show. The reported price for the show is currently around $100 million. I don't know where he got his number. I thought the Rumble was $100 million. I heard $250 million for WrestleMania. So Dave might have gotten his math wrong. Any show The Rock wrestles on would obviously break records and be extremely profitable. And knowing the Saudis, they'll probably ask Dwayne, Steve Austin, and whoever else is still able to walk on their own 2 feet to wrestle on this show. So I don't know why this got blown out of proportion. The only thing I could say, Jason, is, I'm sure The Rock will entertain an offer, and being thrown the amount of money that we all expect him to get thrown it is very difficult to say no to. But at the end of the day, the way that I look at it is, could it work? Sure. He would have to be committed to it, and I don't want to really talk about Rock on television if he's not committed to at least several appearances to make the stories that he's abandoned work. But it's his career. It's his final match. He might not want his last match in Saudi Arabia. I mean, he may have different visions for where he wants to retire. So nobody's going to be able to tell The Rock what he can and cannot do. It's up to him. So I don't know, but I'm assuming he's going to get a big money offer easily.
Well, of course, we already knew that. Like, it's not really news. Like, we heard, I think, when the WrestleMania deal was announced, that it could, not that it's contingent on it, but that there were already conversations happening supposedly to that effect, that Rock would have some level of involvement in that show. But that's a safe assumption to make. Now, we've heard stories about Rock before and them wanting The Rock or The Rock having interest in this, and then nothing happens. So I've given up trying to figure out, or even caring, to be honest with you, whether or not he's going to be involved. I don't think WrestleMania needs to be contingent on him being involved. Obviously, from a business perspective, they would love for him to be involved. And he's going to be, if he wrestles in Saudi at 43, I guarantee you, he will make more money in one night for one match than any wrestler in the history of the business.
Yes.
It comes down to whether or not that's important to him, because he's already making more money than God. So, like you said, are there other considerations? Is he concerned that maybe he doesn't know if he can do a singles match at that point? Is he concerned about it being in Saudi and wanting to retire somewhere in the States? I don't know. Because who knows where WrestleMania is going to be for 44 and 45. Maybe it won't be in a place where he wants to retire then either. How long is he willing to wait?
Well, he can't wait too much longer.
The clock is running. He came back and he did a tag match. He didn't even do a singles match.
And he looked great for the tag match.
He did. But again, that was at this point now, we're looking at 2 years ago. The earliest he would wrestle, it would be 3 years removed from that. And so is he going to want to even commit to any kind of a match, let alone a singles match? Because if it's a singles match, we know who it's against. One of two people, right? We know that. Sure. It's either Roman or Cody. And honestly, it would be Rock and Roman.
Yes.
Like that's still like the big match that got away from them. And so I'm sure that's the match they would want to do. But he has to be confident that he can actually, carry his end of things in a singles match and also have the time that is required. He had a training camp for a fucking tag match that he had. So he's going to need to have a whole training camp for this to get himself in the right shape. But he's got all these other obligations and movies and things that he's involved in. It's a heavy lift.
Trained by Gallus, by the way.
Yes, that's right. It was Wolfgang and the Coffee Brothers,
yes,
I believe.
Yes.
I remember actually when he came back in 2011 for that tag match, where it was him and Cena against Miz and R-Truth. And God, who was it that he had with him? There was somebody in the middle of the card who was working at the time for the company that he had then also kind of helping him. Forgot who it was.
Was it 2011 you said?
2011, yeah.
Who?
Just look it up. Who helped train Rock for his comeback match in 2011?
In 2000, why does this? Why is it giving me Rocky the movie? Who trained the Rock? The Rock.
Apollo Creed helped train the Rock.
It says Curtis Axel.
Yes, that's right. So it was the son of Mr. Perfect who helped the Rock get back in ring shape for that first comeback match. So who knows who it might be in a couple of years if he was going to wrestle again. But, maybe Chad Gable. He's in good shape, right? He can help the Rock train. He could wrestle the Rock if he looks like that.
Sure.
God, he's like a mini Rock. But yeah, so look, it's pointless. It's pointless to try to figure out what Rock is going to do. I guarantee you he doesn't know yet what he wants to do. And if you honestly think that he's going to be able to commit a year in advance and then, kind of clear his schedule out enough to do it, I guess, look, for enough money, if the Saudis were going to pay him $50 million for one match, that's more than he'll make doing, one movie. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll do it. His accountant would tell him you're a fool not to. But it all comes down to whether or not he feels like he's going to, go in there and embarrass himself. He didn't embarrass himself in Philly, but that was, a couple years ago.
Well, if he decides to take the money, hopefully he takes the proper steps to tell the story to get to the big money match instead of just taking the money, wrestling Roman, and saying goodbye. Because nobody wants to see that. I think we are owed all of the loose ends being tied up. So, I don't even want to talk about him until he actually finishes what he started, which I don't give him any hope in doing.
I feel like every year, dude, we go through this every
Well, this got blown out of proportion because Drew put this out. Jonathan Coachman blew it up and went at Drew saying, nobody knows that type of information. Only Rock and Nick Khan and Triple H and whoever else is in that small circle knows that. No shit. Like, that's not news. That's not really groundbreaking information there. So Drew put something out. Everybody jumped on it. Coachman got involved with Drew. It was just fucking utter nonsense. I think everything that we're talking about is the majority opinion from people who listen to the pro wrestling news and the media. Nothing new here. Any Joe Schmo could come up with this. And we'll end with this. Matt Hardy, he had some things to say that I thought would be interesting topics as we close out this episode 128. I'll start with this one because this one's innocent enough. And I actually quite like this idea. I just don't see Tony Khan doing it. Matt Hardy talked about Mick Foley. Now, Mick Foley left any partnership he had with WWE because he didn't like their beliefs and where he was going, and he wants to stand on his own beliefs. And good for Mick. He's staying true to what he believes in. Nobody should criticize anybody for that at all. So Matt Hardy talked about Mick Foley, and he outlined how he would utilize Mick Foley if he was to be brought into AEW. And rather having Foley compete in the ring, which nobody wants to see, Hardy pitched a non-wrestling on-screen role that would leverage Foley's natural charisma and microphone skills. He says, if I was booking AEW, I would put Mick in a commissioner role and have him go out and just be entertaining as shit. I would have him as the commissioner or like an authority figure in some way. Just have him go out there, entertain people. He's a legend. He's respected. You're not going to see him in the ring. So I think the AEW fans would accept it and just try to get some entertainment value out of them in that way. He would fit in there, as he said, from his beliefs, especially political beliefs. I think he would fit there. And just kind of the mindset of AEW, I do think he'd be a good fit for them. Now, I think that's great. I don't know how you feel, Jason, if AEW could benefit from a commissioner or a general manager on air. I think that would be a nice added aspect to the show. But I think it was many years ago when AEW first started up that they publicly stated that they would not put someone in that centralized role because they didn't want that figure to take away from the actual in-ring presence of everybody in the ring. And that's something I do genuinely agree with, because you do get some commissioners and some general managers that make it all about themselves. And it's like, all right, who's the star of the show? Is it the performers or the fucking GM? That's why we love William Regal so much, because he played such a low-key role, but he was still impactful. But
excuse me.
And Jason Solomon, the commissioner of House of Glory, he's the same way.
Thank you very much.
But I agree. The only thing I don't see happening is Tony Khan putting someone on air to pretend to make matches, because I genuinely feel like Tony Khan wants everybody to know he makes the matches and he's the one behind everything. So even if it's like a character on the show that's maybe making the matches because it's on the script, I think Tony wants everybody to know he's fully in charge, and I don't think he would ever put someone in that role to take away from that.
Yeah, I mean, the need to have an authority figure on the show it's a very WWE thing. I don't think it's something that they need. So I mean, look, he was entertaining as the commissioner on Raw 25 years ago. WWE already used him in that capacity once before. And I like Mick, but I just think it's a very, it's a very, WWE idea that just, I don't think it would really fit with the way that they book the show. Everybody already knows anyway that Tony Khan's the one calling the shots. Something happens in the ring, Tony Schiavone gets word in his ear 3 seconds later, and they have a graphic up on screen 7 seconds later. The fuck do they need Foley for?
Yeah.
It's kind of pointless, honestly. So no, I don't think it's something they need to do.
He also mentioned this, and this is not the first time this is being discussed, and I'm assuming that they're doing their own little hype train to get their debut on AMC as mainstream as it could be, and they're really pushing for this to be a big show. TNA will push AEW for the perception of the number 2 wrestling company in 2026. So he says this. My number 3 is that TNA will push AEW for the perception of number 2 in 2026. I think this TNA new TV deal with AMC is going to totally help TNA ascend to the next level. It is going to put TNA back on the level of being a major promotion. Hardy then acknowledged that TNA likely won't match AEW's revenue or media rights fees immediately, but he noted that the look and the feel of the product on AMC will elevate its status significantly. Obviously, monetarily, we're not going to do the same deal, especially for media rights, as AEW is currently, but it is going to look and feel like a big-time promotion. I think it's going to look bigger, and we're going to be back in the game where they're going to talk about, the top 3. You're going to hear more. Usually it's like, WWE, AEW, TNA is going to be that conversation after this year, after 6 months or so. Then John Alba pushed back slightly on the timeline, expressing skepticism that TNA could change the perception within a single year, calling AEW a juggernaut. However, Alba agreed that AMC and the deal would allow TNA to do better business at live events and pay-per-views. I know this being hopeful, Jason, but nothing's going to come about in the first 6 months for them to overtake AEW as the number 2. The way that I look at it is monetarily, if AEW is getting $600+ million for 4 years and TNA is, what is it, $10 million for AMC for how many years?
Reportedly. reportedly.
Like monetarily, bro, there's no way that discussion could be had for a number 2 promotion.
No. It's good to have goals. Good to be goal-oriented in life.
No matter how bad the show may be, man, number 2 is still number 2.
Yeah. I mean, again, Bischoff's been trying to peddle that point for a while now. Their focus needs to just be on really hitting a home run on January 15th on that first AMC show. And then going forward, doing what they can to retain as much of the audience as they're going to have on that first night. Because whatever they're going to do on night number 1, I do think they're then going to lose some of that.
Yes.
And the key then is to not lose too much of it. Like, how much of that audience do they lose? Because you're going to have people tuning in out of curiosity and all that. And they're really hyping up that first show. So there's going to be a come down. And the question is, where do they settle? Can you create new fans? And this is the problem with people who are saying like, oh, you know, TNA on AMC they're going to beat Dynamite. And again, you know, we don't even know what the total audience is going to be for either one of these shows, because Impact is going to be broadcasting or simulcasting or whatever on AMC Plus, which doesn't publicly release numbers for individual shows. And we know that AEW, we don't get any numbers on their max numbers, whatever they may be.
500,000, bro.
Oh, of course. Yeah, naturally. How could I be so foolish?
Come on now.
But just looking in terms of like the ratings, which is such like a dead discourse at this point anyway, but you know, people are going to be looking at it and making comparisons. Like that first week, right? I think that they have it in them, especially for that first show, curiosity watching, to beat out whatever Collision is going to do that week.
I agree wholeheartedly, yes.
I think that's a very real possibility. They're not going to beat Dynamite.
No.
And I don't know that there will be very many weeks where that even comes close. Right now, I think supposedly they have maybe about 100,000 viewers on Access TV. It's a small enough network. It's kind of hard to gauge. I don't know what their internal goals are. If they go from 100,000, let's say, weekly viewers to 2 or 250 on AMC, that's a huge improvement for them, right? That's 150,000 new viewers. That should be their goal, is just to grow from where they are now to where they can truly make some new fans. And you're going to get WWE has a partnership with them. You may get some WWE or NXT fans who tune in. That's where the partnership could be very beneficial. I don't know how much WWE is going to mention that or promote the fact that they're on AMC, but like there's no AEW fans that are going to stop watching AEW to switch over to TNA. Like they're not going to grab viewers away from AEW.
No,
like
it's enemy territory now. Now forget
that will never happen. Like the AEW sickos fans who watch the show, they ain't going to switch over to TNA. So it's like, I think people in their minds think, oh my God, like, you know, they're gonna get 500,000 or 600,000 viewers weekly and embarrass like AEW and everything. And I'm like, where are these 300,000 or 400,000 extra viewers coming from exactly? I don't think people think these things through when they have these grandiose ideas in their head. Like wrestling is not as hot as some people like to think it is. And so they're not magically going to manufacture 300,000 or 400,000 new wrestling fans. But you would hope over time, if this is successful, it will be a slow growth and they can, make some new fans that way. And then it'll be reflected at the pay-per-views and the live events and ticket sales will go up. That needs to be their focus. They're not going to be number 2 this year. Like, enough with this shit. And they don't have to be number 2. They could be a healthy promotion with great television on Thursday nights that grows their audience and works with WWE. And that's all they really need to be right now to be successful.
Just tell some good stories. Just leave it at that.
That's the thing. Like,
I think
is anybody talking about creatively anything that's going on right now in TNA?
No. I haven't heard a single fucking word about anything.
There you go. And their big debut is next week, by the way. So I know Mike Santana is going to get his rematch on that show
and probably win the world title back.
But I don't exactly hear a lot of buzz about like all this stuff that's going on in TNA, other than they're going to be getting on AMC. I know that, but like, there's not a lot of. I don't get the sense there's a lot of excitement that's been generated story wise about anything that's happening on the show. That needs to be their focus. Create those stories, create those stars, And then you would hope the audience will come. Don't worry about, we're going to be number 2. We're going to beat them. We're going to No, you're not. Just focus on putting together great matches and good stories.
If you guys care about the ratings, I say TNA tops out at maybe 200 plus, and then kind of bottoms out at like maybe 150, 175.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds realistic. Again, AMC, I was curious. Like, AMC used to have all these hit shows, and I don't watch it. I don't have a reason to watch AMC anymore, so I don't know what the current hit shows would be. And evidently, they're not quite as big as they used to be. And I was kind of surprised. There was an article, it might have been in Variety within the last week or two. Actually, no, it might have been a few months ago. But they talked about how this past year, for the first time ever, they were going to make more, I think, ad revenue money from their streaming service than from their linear channels.
Really?
Yeah.
Well.
So, yeah, I guess, and that's sort of the whole thing with cable. I know that, cord cutters and all that, but apparently, yeah, I mean, look, AMC is still much better than where they were before, but it's not, I guess it doesn't have like the prestige that it used to. So it's not like TNA just being on there is going to suddenly, you're going to have this like influx of all these like hundreds of thousands of new viewers. That's not the way it works. Like, you have to build an audience, and that's what they'll have to do.
Better than Access TV.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So that's the way we are going to finish off this episode of TNT, guys. Thank you very much for a great episode 128. Hopefully things ramp up going into the Royal Rumble, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the discussion tonight. We're going to get into your super chats, and we are going to call it a night. So let's put on some tunes and start things off with my guy Cody Snyder. Thank you for the recommitment. 44 months. Appreciate you, brother. Michael Krause with a 2. Good Tuesday, JD Jason OTS. I'm ready for TNT. Yeah, at 5:14 p.m. Michael, thank you for always being here super early, brother. We appreciate it. Boss Mo Jackson with the 499. The first step to change is admitting there's a problem. WWE just don't see nothing wrong with themselves. They've been under that umbrella too long. Yeah, they think they're the top dog in the game, and everything they do is great. It's not. Triple H don't give a shit, though. Michelle Moran with a 5. If Drew wins the belt Friday, how long before Cody gets it back? And what do you make of the rumor that Drew goes back to the Bloodline Destroyer angle? If he wins the belt, which I would be very happy if he does, either Saturday night's main event or the Rumble, which we discussed earlier, and him going back after the Bloodline, for what? Why would he go back after the Bloodline? The Bloodline's not even around anymore. That was something that should have happened last year going into Mania, and they gave him Damian Priest.
Now he would be the MFT hunter.
Yes.
Which would be an awful idea, by the way.
And he's great, and even he can't even make them fucking look good.
No. Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, there was a time to do it, and now that wouldn't make any sense.
No. Sidro with a 10. Watched the guy spin around 3 times as he urinated. He says it's his New Year's resolution. 1080p. I can't believe someone broke into my house and stole all my fruit. I am peachless. Rough start, Sidra. Rough start. $5 super chat. I asked a Google programmer why it took them so long to update their web browser. He said, well, Chrome wasn't built in a day.
Not bad.
A little bit better. $5 super chat. Sidro, dressed as a screwdriver on Halloween. Wasn't the greatest costume, but it turned a lot of heads. And washing windows is a boring job. Real pain in the glass. What do you call a random protest started for arbitrary reasons? A just cause. And how did Pirate get his sister laid? He asked someone to scissor me sister. No mas, Sidro, no mas. Boss Mo Jackson, the 499 predictions On the women's side, I can see either Liv, Roxy, Bella, or Belair taking it. Men's side, Breaker, Knight, Drew, or Fatu. Hopefully not Roman. I'm assuming he means the Royal Rumble. Nikki Bella, no. Liv is absolutely a possibility.
Yeah, Roxanne, I have her winning Money in the Bank this year.
I could see that. I think Roxy lasted longer than anybody in last year's Rumble. I could see her going a good 45 minutes this year. Belair's going to be in it. I think they're waiting for her to come back in the Rumble. I think that's going to be a big pop. For the men, Breaker's odds-on favorite. LA Knight will be in there. Drew, we don't know yet. After Friday, we'll find out. Hopefully better. And Fatu, we may see him Friday, but I do think he'll be in the Rumble.
Drew, by the way, I think if he wins the belt, I think he could hold it to the Chamber.
I would not mind that. Duff's Vids with a $9.99. Idea for Road to WrestleMania. Drew wins the belt on Friday, rematch at the Royal Rumble, and Drew win. Braun Breaker wins the Royal Rumble and picks Punk at WrestleMania. Then have LA Knight win Elimination Chamber to face Drew, and have LA Knight win the belt at WrestleMania. Thoughts?
Oh, yeah, well, that's not happening. That's not happening.
What's not happening? LA Knight World Champion? Not happening?
Well, LA Knight against Drew McIntyre is not going to be the WrestleMania match.
I appreciate your creativity, Duffs. Thank you. Jeffrey Mania with a $30 super chat. Cheers to the first TNT of 2026. Happy 26 to you guys. Hope it is an epic year for both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate that very much, my man. Caden with a $1.99. No messages. Thank you, Caden. Lauren with a $5. Y2J returning at the Rumble. I would assume so, yeah. Randy Orton needs to defeat Cody at Mania. I have a feeling he's turning heel. I sincerely hope we don't get Roman Cody 3. Looking like it might happen. Mania predictions. Becky, AJ, Punk, Braun, Orton, Cody. Well, if that's the prediction, who does Roman get? You think Rollins will be back in time we get Rollins, Roman?
And that's the thing. They're not going to know until April. Yeah. You're going to really hold Roman Reigns out on the chance that Seth Rollins will be ready in time?
And why would you do that when the whole reason for him to come back would immediately to go after Braun Breaker? Like, that should be the match.
His first match back against Roman doesn't even make sense.
No. Also, WWE turns that need to happen. Orton, Belair, and LA Knight. Belair, I think she's just a better heel.
She's been gone long enough where she's got to be a babyface when she comes back. She's not going to be a heel.
Yeah, LA Knight, no, I mean, it was a discussion. I don't think so. But Orton, absolutely.
Orton or Cody?
Yeah.
Which one?
To turn heel? I'm going Cody. Yeah. Luca with a $5. Sholdy, the shoulder demon. I took out their shoulders. I made them tap out like little bitches. Yes. That actually would go better for Sholdy than it would for Gunther, yeah.
Sholdy has a lot more heat than Gunther does right now. All the people that he's taking out.
Marshall D with a $1.99. Happy New Year's, guys. Raw was ass last night. It was. I agree. We got Ash with a 2 and a 2. The Karate Kid on Netflix is greater than Raw on Netflix, and JD's laugh is infectious. Well, thank you, Ash. I appreciate that. Also, Ash.
Your laugh.
My laugh, yes.
Oh, okay.
He also says something here about you. He says the essence. No, come on now. The essence Solomonster equals stoic.
Compliment or an insult?
Your reaction to that was better than the fucking comment.
Stoic.
Zach with a $4.99. What do you think would have been the bigger match? Cena Hogan, Austin Hogan, Austin Cena, or Punk Austin, and why? By the way, absolutely love the show. Well, thank you for that, Zach. We appreciate that. Jason, I'll let you go first with that one. Which one's the bigger match?
Okay, well, if it depends on what time period you're talking about. So if each of those matches, if you're talking about like in their heyday, then Austin Hogan. Easily. It's the battle between the two biggest stars in the history of that company. If you're talking about, I mean, what else would he be talking about unless you're talking about them back when, like, physically it would have been the best time to do that match? the biggest marquee match, Austin Hogan. After that, honestly, I would go Austin Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the other one? You said Hogan, Cena?
Hogan, Cena, and then Austin, Cena. I'd probably do Austin, Cena, yeah.
Yeah, and then Hogan, Cena at the bottom, which almost happened, by the way. That was originally going to happen at WrestleMania 25.
Huh. Very good question, Zach. Appreciate that, brother. Bossmo Jackson with a $4.99.
Great, I have a new name now. Stoic Solo.
I don't really get stoic with what you do, but people are creative. Bossmo Jackson with a $4.99. WWE does not know how to multitask when it comes to booking their divisions. It's weak, unimpactful, lazy, and formulaic. It's annoying as hell. Based with a $9.99. JD, I will be going to Dynamite tomorrow. I will let everyone know how it is from a live POV when you do the review. Where are they tomorrow? I don't even know. Texas?
Well, let's see.
I feel like it's in Texas, somewhere in Texas.
I'll find
out. Cornell with a $9.99. JD, do you remember asking if this version of Becky Lynch was her doing a Donald Trump impersonation?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Ah, okay. Not
That's
Texas.
Right. No, Jim Ross is back tomorrow night.
That's right. Do you remember asking if this version of Becky Lynch was doing her Trump impersonation? Well, just go watch her and Seth's new Busted Open interview that just dropped. Yeah, she's Becky Trump. I knew there was a little Donald Trump in her. It just kind of just came off that way. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. There's absolutely no way a homeless person looking like a bum like Sami Zayn should ever beat Trick Williams one-on-one. Come on now, man. We love Sami Zayn. Come on.
Show some respect now. Come on.
Yes.
That's the great Sami Zayn.
Jeffrey Manny with a 20. So that's 50 in total. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. WWE 2K26 comes out a little bit later this year. I was just curious if you would consider doing a universe series like you did with the previous 2K games. Jeffrey, first of all, thank you for your donation. Appreciate you very much. No. I have given up on the games. I just feel like every year it's the same thing with minor modifications to a point where they don't need a new game and they just should simply update the game on a year-by-year basis. So,
but I can't wait for the cover star to be revealed, and it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that's basically what everybody runs with content. Who's the cover star? And they make videos off everybody's entrances like we don't know what their fucking entrances are, you know? So thank you, Jeffrey, but no, I'm going to pass on this year's game. Bossmo Jackson, 3 stages match is useless and pointless with a $1.99. Bro, we're not even at Friday yet. It's only Wednesday. Come on. Aviles with 38 months. Can you guys see CNC, Cope and Christian versus FTR, Okada versus Takeshita, and MJF versus Omega at this year's Revolution? We'd love to see Bandito in a big match as well.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I would wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I would wait on the MJF and Omega match, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see all of those.
Hollywood guy with a 5. Where are the motor shitty machine guns?
Come on.
Did they vanish? Are they still employed? Has anyone done a search party for them? Yeah, bro. Their WWE run has been very uneventful. Kind of lame because they're fucking great. Bossmo Jax with a $1.99. This sucks. Oba retains and Kendall Gray loses.
That's okay. Kendall's going to win it at Stand and Deliver.
There you go.
Build to it.
There you go. Patience.
She's great.
History King 888, $1.99. Oba just vacated the NXT title. Good. Someone in the chat asked I think in a later super chat, what my thoughts on it are. Why would you beat him? Give the perception that he is really the ruler. You can't beat someone like that. It is kind of silly that he just vacated it because he's giving up something very, very worthwhile, but he's going to the main roster, so we all know where he's going.
Well, I mean, why even put it back on him in the first place?
That's also a good
other
point.
than maybe they wanted, champion against champion with him and Cody.
Yeah.
That's probably the only reason why they did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adam JD 519 with 22 months. Thank you, brother. First TNT of 26. Let's kick off a great year. Hashtag OTS for life. Hashtag Solid Monster. Sounds off. Appreciate you, Adam.
Man. Thank you.
TVP with a $4.99. Oba left his NXT title in the ring. Seemingly, he's called up now. Great. Can't wait to see what he does. Richie V with a $4.99. NXT men's division is cooked. I watched the Ethan Page segment, and it made me realize how bleak things are going to look after all these call-ups.
Well, who's left? Okay, so Ricky Saints is still there.
Ethan Page, Tony D'Angelo.
Okay, now after them, let's assume Javon is gone. Oba's gone.
Lexus King.
Ew. It is bleak.
Yeah, it is. It is very bleak. I can't think of anybody outside him with a notable name.
I gotta go to the roster.
What's his name? Minnie Orton. What's his name there?
Miles Bourne.
Miles Bourne. Tavion Heights. Right.
Tavion Heights is very
what's
good.
that guy from the LFG show? The Reaper guy, and then the guy on the dark web guy. What's his name? Shiloh Hill. Yeah, that's all I got.
The dark web guy.
He constantly browses the dark web. It's his character.
I see.
Yeah.
Looking at this roster here, in terms of like top tier NXT guys that would like be competing for the championship, yeah, it's slim picking. Oh well, Joe Hendry, but
I see him going to SmackDown.
Yeah, I know, but he's listed on the NXT page though. So let's assume he's going to SmackDown. Lexus King, Nico Vance.
Okay.
No? Okay. Osiris Griffin. Right, these are the Dark State guys. Saquon Sugars. Sean Spears.
Yeah. You got my guy Stacks down there still, right?
Stacks. And Uriah Connors.
I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. Jasper Troy.
Josh Briggs. Hank and Tank.
I like them.
Dion Lennox.
Bro, what is this roster?
Dante Chen. Brooks Jensen.
No. You that's enough. In oh so many words, there is nobody.
And Andre Chase.
No.
There you go.
No, Andre Chase. Yes.
Ooh, it is bleak.
Yes, it is very bleak. Baltimore Jackson with 199. Charlotte's Autobots hijacked the audio briefly. Yes, OBS crashed for like 2 seconds and then rebooted again. It's fine. Sidro with a 2. Netflix debuting an adult section. Netflix and chill. No, thank you, Sidro. No, thank you. Baltimore Jackson with a 499. Stranger Things theme on Raw is a little too late. They just finished the series, so I found it corny and stupid. Did it 2 seasons ago. I don't really care for the music either way, but I don't mind the music.
Oh, the music is great. So what current Netflix show should they have collaborated with? What's another big current Netflix show that they could have?
Love is Blind. Seriously, that's the other biggest show that they got.
Well, that doesn't speak very well to the content on Netflix then, if that's the other big one that you could think of. There's nothing else?
No. Did you see this new show coming at the end of the month? It's called Skyscraper Live. A guy is going to climb, I don't know how many stories this building is. He's going to climb this huge skyscraper with no ropes. Live.
I mean, that sounds very stupid to me.
Yes, it does. Yes, I had people telling me today, I'm not watching that live. I want to know he lives, and then I'll watch it. I don't know, man.
Everyone's saying Squid Game, but Squid Game's over. I thought we're trying to pick a current show. Squid Game is great, but like, is there a current Netflix show other than Love is Blind that they could do a crossover with?
Someone said Unreal. Yes.
No wonder they're making all these WWE deals. Evidently, they don't have anything else.
I am Dean Goldberry with a 199. Have either one of you fellas tried MJF's pickle? No. I don't want any discussion of MJF's pickle. No. Dan Gleesack, 199. Bring one to WWE. Go. Omega, Osprey, Moxley.
Osprey.
Mike 44 with a 44 months. Raw felt like it was during Vince era. Nothing exciting but the main event. Jericho debut Saturday night's main event in Canada. I didn't think of that. That's actually, I could be. I don't know. Could be. I would rather that, honestly, than the Royal Rumble in Saudi, honestly. But we'll see. Broly7 with 499. When Triple H hypes the hell out of a show, just know you're going to be disappointed. The quietest advertised shows are always the best. I agree.
Well, it's the ones that they don't hype up. It's almost impossible to live up to the hype.
Yeah.
If you set your expectations low, you'll never be disappointed.
Bossmo Jackson with 199. Not time for Javon. Make me think his Raw call-up is will be a thumbs down. No, Javon's going to be fine. I don't know why they did not even mention him on Raw last night. Like, you have someone like that who you recently featured in a match last week. To not mention him this week, it's like it's so odd. Dave Scheffler with a 5. As you always say, JD, no story boring, no angles or cliffhanger, especially on the main event. It ended and show over. Worse than the first Netflix show. I would say last night was worse, yeah. J94 with a 5. Do you think it's a possibility Jericho interferes on Friday in the 3 stages of Hell match?
No.
Keith Hobson with it. Jason was very cool with that. No. Keith Hobson with the 21 months. Word is that Netflix has the WWPLE event rights. Yes, we just talked about that. Israel with a 499. JD and Jason, best in the game. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah, Israel.
Hell yeah.
Gavin with a 5. Welcome to Thursday Night Jericho on AMC. Well, TNA needs something for their first show on a new network.
Hey, if he's available and I'm TNA, I'm at least reaching out and trying to make that happen.
Sure. B Money with a 999. Could EO and Rhea have an Eddie Ray type story heading into Mania where they face each other as tag team champions and EO beats Rhea again and Rhea turns heel on EO down the line like Eddie did to Ray?
I don't see them turning Rhea heel.
No.
She's too over.
No, that would be ridiculous.
But she does have to get that elusive win over EO. I think this is the year she'll get that win over EO. Actually, you know what? If they wanted to do that as a WrestleMania match,
fuck it.
I wouldn't mind it.
I mean, after that Revolution match, why not? I'm taking it.
Oh, yeah.
Ali with a 5. The upcoming feud between AJ Styles and Gunther is starting, and I also want to see AJ Styles secure his first victory against Gunther. Yeah, not happening.
That's not going to happen.
You got a better chance of getting a date with Nikki Bella, Ali. Get out of here. Jimmy Mancuss with a 20. Cena refuses to quit. Gunther incensed. Becomes a running joke that Gunther couldn't make Cena tap. He finally snaps, attacks announcers, officials, interrupts matches, slapping on the sleeper and demanding they quit. Heat. Yeah, that would be great, Jimmy, if they didn't do that with fucking Pat McAfee. It's the same exact thing they did with Pat McAfee. They beat up announcers. Walker Stubbs with a 999. My friend says that everyone is going crazy and crying, his words, over Raw because it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. I just let him talk and let him believe what he believes. I'm sorry about your friend, Walker. Maybe he should watch TNT so he learns a lesson or two.
Yeah, he can learn a few things.
Dom Wapo with 30 months. Happy New Year, JD and Solo. Just curious, I don't know if you already addressed it, but how do you feel about Kit Wilson's buzz this past week? And will he get pushed?
His buzz? Did I miss something?
Apparently everybody loves Kit Wilson all of a sudden, man. He's a hot
they were talking about his theme song, but I don't know if I would call that a buzz around Kit Wilson.
He'll be on the show next week and then lose like he usually does. He'll take the place of Fabian Eichner, Giovanni Vinci, as the loser of the show.
He dropped off the face of the earth.
I don't know a fucking thing about him, bro. I don't know what he even looks like anymore.
Not even indies or anything. You just don't hear him mentioned anymore.
Robbie618 with a 199. Some Dijon with a side of portobello mushrooms. Solo.
Well played.
Sounds
I thought
good.
it was Cooper Dijon. I mean, that's, apparently it's Dijon.
Dijon. Thank you, Robbie. Flash 2064 with a 499. If you think about it, Dijon is already wrestling. Ready. He's one half of the elite NFL tag team, the Exciting Whites. I don't know what that is.
I don't get that at all.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Not a response.
Is that like a locker room thing that we used to do in high school? I don't know. What is that? Grant with a 10. Tried asking this last week. Favorite Cena promo? I like the promo against Punk with Bret Hart in Canada on Raw. The crowd who was booing him loudly started cheering. Lawler's health scare overshadowed it.
I think the one that when it was him and Orton face to face in the ring with all the legends and people behind them, it was before their title unification match. That one, it's the one where the crowd went crazy for Daniel Bryan during the segment.
Yes, that's a good one.
So Cena worked him into it kind of very masterfully. That was certainly one of his more memorable ones. The one maybe that I kind of enjoyed the most was where he just completely eviscerated and embarrassed Roman Reigns.
I was going to say that one. That one just brought a smile to my face.
It was just brutal. Just brutal.
Matt Queen with a 5. Hey, JD, don't know if you heard, but Oba left his title in the ring tonight after beating Leon Slater. I had no idea. This is news to me.
know.
Matt Queen, thank you. Now we know. Yeah. Base Beers with a 2. Buy or sell, Ricochet or Matt Riddle? As far as what? In ring? In ring, I'm going Ricochet. I'm buying on Ricochet, selling on Matt Riddle.
I'll do the same, but I will say that, had things gone differently, he had the potential, did Riddle, to be a world champion in WWE.
Yeah.
And like a much bigger deal than he was.
And if he was on good behavior, he'd actually, I think he would have a successful run in AEW, but they don't want him there.
Yeah, I don't think Tony wants anything to do with him.
Nah. Rage B4 with a 10. This recent Raw should be a red flag to Netflix. TKO and Triple H screwed them. Netflix got what they wanted. That was all of them all over that show. They got what they wanted. Who do we have here? Buy, sell, Cornell, 1999. Come on. Do we really see both major titles defended at the Rumble? Hell no. This is a Paul Sesame Street LeSafe PLE. So that means we are only getting 4 matches, so Punk might have to sit this one out like Gunther in 25. I don't know. That's a good question, Jason. Do you see Punk, after beating Breaker, going into the Rumble and having another World Championship match so soon after?
You know what? Probably not. They have Saturday night's main event the week before.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Rumble each of the last 2 years has been 4 matches. So probably, if I had to guess which title it would be, probably a WWE Championship match.
Yeah. I would probably go Cody Randy. Sidro 2. Her, I have ovaries. Him. Is that why you overreact? You didn't get it, Sidro, man. You're running out of time here, bro. We're almost done. Robbie, 199. Oba and Miz equals Oba for Miz. Can you imagine? No, I can't. We got enough gatekeeper Miz. We don't need him fucking gatekeeping for Oba Femi either. Alex with a 5. Brother JD and Solo, buy, sell, rent on your favorite WrestleMania match from these 3. Y2J versus Edge, WrestleMania 26. Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 19. And Batista, Undertaker, WrestleMania 23.
I'm going to buy on Angle and Brock. I'm going to rent on Undertaker and Batista. And I'm going to sell on Jericho and Edge.
Same for me. I think that sounds good. Even though the Taker Batista match was fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Major Motions with 199. Texas Tornado was the Ultimate Warrior a few times. No. Texas Tornado was great, though. I was a big fan of him growing up. Davy Jones with a 5. By the way, Rock starts filming Lizard music this summer. And
That's what it was. You called him Mr. Lizard.
no, I said Lizard Man.
Oh, you said Lizard Man, right?
Yeah, I knew it was something lizard. I don't know where you got Chicken Man.
No, that's the character he's playing.
Oh, that's the character. Okay.
You got it wrong. You called him Lizard Man. The movie is what's the movie?
I said the movie was Lizard Man.
No,
but
you didn't.
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
You said he was playing. I think you said he was playing Lizard Man.
Dude, I said
no,
the movie was Lizard Man.
I don't think that's what you said. I think you called him Lizard Man in the movie.
So he's playing
Chicken Man.
He's playing a role in the movie called Lizard Music, and he's named Chicken Man. Is that what's going on here?
No, he's playing Chicken Man in the movie.
I'm so confused. I don't know. I gotta
Sounds
look
like
this
the
up.
dumbest fucking movie, by the way. I don't even know what it's about. But he's playing. I believe he's playing Mr. Chicken or the Chicken Man. He's playing Chicken Man. I think in the movie.
I gotta look this up. I never heard of this before. So
Robot Chicken. I don't know. He's something with chicken.
Maybe it's what is that called? What was that chicken you've been promoting?
Oh, Impeccable Chicken.
Maybe he's playing Impeccable Chicken. I don't know.
I got a code for that, by the way.
Lord Maestro with the 199. I just wanted to show some love to the fellas. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
8580 podcast for the 499. I could see Raquel winning the women's title and having a match with Liv before or at WrestleMania. No. I don't want to see Raquel Rodriguez walk into WrestleMania with the championship. Crazy Men 88 with a 5. Hear me out. Drew wins the title because Fatu tosses Drew out off the cage thinking he attacked him. Aldis gets pissed at Drew, forces him to defend in the chamber. Bro, you're more creative than fucking Elmo Levesque over there. Listen, anything is possible. I think it will end up being Drew McIntyre ending up attacking Jacob Fatu. That's what they're going with. Alex with a $10 super chat. Can you see Jericho in the Money in the Bank match this year? It will be exactly 10 years.
No.
10 years since his last Money in the Bank match. Can you see him on the end of a Mexican destroyer from Penta off the top of the ladder?
Sure, and I could see that being the last match Chris Jericho ever wrestles if you do that.
Oh my God. Just Jeremiah with a 199. Did you hear BDE signed with TNA? Love the show. I did. Good for him. He's going to appeal to the younger audience. That's why they signed him there. And right on AMC's debut coming up in a week or so. That's pretty cool. Furious Nation with the 499. What's up, JD Solo? Happy New Year. SmackDown last week was better than Raw last night. Did you hear about Ryan Ward recently? And also Raw has a new song. I did hear about Ryan Ward. I've always appreciated Ryan Ward's ability to creatively write because he was actually part of that NXT Black and Gold team. And the Monday Night Raw theme song is just as bad as the old one was, but nothing is worse than Fiend. So they need to do better in that department for sure. Way back when with a 5. I'm glad they put Ryan Ward as an overseer of creative. At least Triple H listens to complaints, but I'm close to saying he needs to go. Triple H ain't going nowhere. Harpreets with a $6.99. I believe the go-home show for Raw, for the Rumble, is in Toronto. Any possibility Jericho will show up there, if not on Saturday night, in Montreal? Again, highly possible. We don't know. Jericho's going to come back when Jericho seems to want to come back. Fred B. Jams with a 5. Jericho's short deal with TNA until Rumble. No, he'll show up in WWE, and then if he wants to work TNA, he'll maybe be allowed to do that. Furious Nation with the 499. Also, kind of had a job evaluation today, and coming out of it, I feel very down and honestly feel nothing going right. Hoping everything works out. I've been there, brother. You know what I mean? Listen, man, when I first moved to Atlantic City, I interviewed with fucking God knows how many jobs. And I finally landed the Starbucks gig, which everybody knows about, who's been with me since the very beginning. You know, it'll happen. And when it does, it's gonna be a great day. Trust me. You're gonna feel so happy when it finally happens. 8580 podcast with 499. Who's the best current wrestler that will retire without winning the world title, male or female? Might be LA Knight. To be quite honest with you. Yeah.
Probably. You know what? Maybe Chad Gable.
That's a good one.
He's really good.
That's a good one for sure. Let's see. What do we got here? Ira Passmore, 420 with a 199. Fatu versus Oba or Fatu versus Breaker? Ooh. I'm going Fatu Breaker.
Yeah, Fatu Breaker.
Yeah. Furious Nation with the 499. If Cody Rhodes were to ever go heel, would you be opposed to a new legacy trio with Cody, Ricky Saints, or maybe Lexis King? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get off this Lexis King thing right now.
I don't know, man. What's the negativity toward Lexis King?
No, putting him in a faction with Cody. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't think that's needed.
No.
Cody and Ricky doing something together. I'm sure they'll work against each other. As far as them being in a group, I don't really see it. If he was to go heel though, forming a new legacy like group, I wouldn't be opposed to Cody having a little heel faction.
No, Ricky Saints would fit good into that, I think. That'd be nice. I am Dean Goldberry, 1 with a 199. Yes, MJF has pickle collaboration on Kalen and Kalen website. Yes, I know. But you said pickle. Pickles. That S is imperative to finish your sentence. Otherwise, it doesn't sound right. Tan May, 799. What are your thoughts on MJF defending the AEW title on the Indies against Alec Price? I think it's stupid. I don't know why that's being done. MJF
Alec
can do
Price
what
is a great talent.
MJF is one of those guys that is able to do what he wants.
MJF wants to defend his AEW World Championship against other people, then he's the champion. So that's his prerogative.
There you go. Furious Nation with a 499. As far as Anna Jay is concerned, I think she jumped ship to WWE. What are your thoughts? I say so. I think she could use the system for sure.
I think she would benefit from being in the PC system.
Yeah. And then we'll end with this one. Rothman, 316 with a 249. Is Braun too predictable for a Royal Rumble winner? It's leaning towards that, I think, yeah.
No, I don't think he's too predictable for a Rumble winner. I think having Roman Reigns win again would be predictable.
Yes, it would.
So at least if this is predictable, it's predictable in a good way, because at least they're trying to get over a younger, newer guy.
You know who wouldn't be predictable? LA Knight.
That would be very unpredictable. But would they do it? That's the question.
Now, if they can do yeet, they can do yeah. So, well, we'll see what happens. It should be fun. But thank you guys very much, man. That's all we got for you. You guys killed it tonight. Appreciate you. We have 941 likes. Can we get that remaining to get to 1,000? Would love to see that. So if you guys are in the chat and have not hit the thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up. Follow Jason on social media, on YouTube. Everything you need is linked down below in the description. And please go and help him get to 90,000 subscribers over on his YouTube channel. He'll be live tomorrow night with Dynamite, as I will be live as well with Jesse, I believe, who is back from Florida. And we got a great week coming up. We got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, and 3 Stages of Hell, and we'll wrap it up next week. And we'll talk about it all right here on TNT. But thank you guys very much for a great 128. I'm going to leave it to the man himself to sound us off for another Tuesday night.
Well, I don't know how many New York Giants fans we have in the chat here, but I saw that news before about John Harbaugh. Everyone's freaking out here in New York about him maybe coming over to be the new coach for the Giants. And we'll see how that turns out. That's kind of a big story that's playing out right now in the NFL. Where's Harbaugh going to go?
Is freaking out a good or bad thing?
I think freaking out in terms of them probably wanting him to come to New York. He's got a name, and so they're like, oh, bring him over, right? Because they could sure use the help.
Yes.
I don't know where he's going to land, but that's going to probably be the big headline story going into tomorrow. As someone who is more of a Jets guy than a Giants guy, I don't really give a shit, but it's going to dominate the headlines, I'm sure, until he makes a decision about where he's going to go.
Well, if you guys are Giants fans, looking forward to that. That's exciting news. I'm just waiting for spring training to start, as is Jason. So we got a couple more weeks to go, a few more weeks to go, and then we'll be back.
But when is the Super Bowl this year?
First week of February.
Is it first week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But we will be back next week, guys, with another episode of TNT, episode 129. We'll wrap up all the week's happenings next week right here on Tuesday night. Until then, guys, have a good week, and we'll see you next week.